How is your Saturday morning? And good afternoon to you,
Let's start
Cruel.
this party with a bang.
Yes,
Yeah.
the old nuclear explosion. I
Yeah.
love that.
File went and ducked and covered.
He's
Yep.
he's probably taking care of something real quick. So I'm glad that he is able to come on. I know he's had a
Yes.
busy week and such. So and yes, the time prophet here
Oh yeah.
about an hour ago. Uh, I I'm first here yet again. Yes, you are.
Well, I
You
suppose that's
are
kind of part of the course if you're there an hour early.
Oh
right.
yeah.
Right. Yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah. Wait a minute.
It's-
Hold on a second. Where are we at here? Perhaps we should club together and buy Wookie a digital watch. Yeah. Yeah. Give me a digital watch there, time prophet. You're the time prophet. Oh. So we're gonna we're gonna let file get organized, taken care of,
yeah.
and then we'll get on the subject matter. I have no slides today because I don't think we need slides.
No slides. That's it. I'm away.
No, you think this
Stream
is
over.
Mr.
No
Brown's
slides. That's
show?
it.
Mr. Brown Alliance with 50,000, slides.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yes, yes. Uh, anyway, yeah. So how's everybody doing this morning? How you doing, Abby? How was your morning?
Uh, well, I'm still in Commyville, um, stuck behind enemy lines.
You haven't
You know,
escaped yet?
working for a woke company, and yeah,
Yeah. And if you do leave, you're
Hey.
probably going to have to pay a tax or a penalty, some kind of tariff to get out.
if they can find me,
You want to leave?
There you
We
go.
are going
Yeah.
to charge you, so you have to leave. You have to pay us.
Yes.
Pay us. Give us
we are
money.
going to tax you an exit fee to leave this state.
Yes. Yeah. Oh shit. So Kroll, how's things over there in your neck of the woods?
Yeah, not bad. Can't
Yeah.
complain. Nobody listens,
had-
so yeah, it's all good.
Hey,
Is-
tell us about that
Isn't
that
apathy a
weird.
great thing?
hey, tell us about that sighting you had of a red hat.
Oh yeah, I'm
Yeah.
fairly certain that I
Indeed.
actually saw an older gentleman a couple of times over the last couple of weeks walking downtown with a MAGA hat on.
In,
Pretty sure
in
it was.
Scotland. There you
I, had,
go.
I was kind of like, eh, what?
Love it.
I was almost going to stop him and say like, we need one of them for here. But
Right.
well, should I have said? Should I have said that out loud?
Are you breaking up or is it me? I think you were.
I don't know.
Uh-oh. They're coming for you now.
Yeah.
You mentioned the
Is-
dirty word on
Black
you mentioned MAGA,
helicopters.
and they're coming after you.
I'm
I
sorry,
hear a
it's just
file.
me there.
I hear a file.
The thought police are coming after you.
Yeah,
File's
coming out the
barfing up a
window.
lung.
Holy shit.
That does not sound good.
Ferris Bueller's coughing up a lung.
Meh.
Bueller,
Ah,
Bueller, Bueller.
Bueller,
Bueller.
Bueller.
Fried. Fried.
You okay, File?
Hello.
You gonna live, buddy?
You doing all right?
Hello, everyone.
Hello, sir.
How you doing?
How's everybody's morning going?
Well, we're on a stream again.
Well,
Somehow.
glad you bring that up. This morning I woke up, right? I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be streaming this morning about some political whatever, right? And I'm thinking, all right, I went and my wife was showing me this '05 Porsche Carrera.
Ooh.
Yeah, Daddy really likes.
Ooh.
And then, and then I was like, wow, that's beautiful. And, it's my birthday's coming up, so on the birthday list. And then, thank you. And then I was looking at a 1991 Harley Davidson Fat Boy with leather saddlebags in the back, highway pegs in the front. It has to be black and red, and a shotgun holster in the back.
Mm.
Oh, nice.
It's the Terminator bike.
Yes.
Wait, say,
I'll be back.
wow, that sounds cool.
Follow me now.
That's what I want, right? I want
Follow
that
me
bike, right?
now if you want to live.
So I got all this happiness going on. I listened to freaking Dancing with the Kids and listened to Sharp Dressed Man by ZZ Tops, and I'm like, man, this is a great morning, and I'm all happy and stuff, realizing that in about
You got to
10
be on
minutes or
this stream.
so, I'm gonna be on this suicide.
I was waiting for it.
You
Yeah.
have to have
Invoking-
your day ruined.
Put
by
my
Wookiee.
shotgun in my mouth,
Yet
patiently
again.
waiting, fucking. So I filled my day with as much joy as I could, because I knew for the
Tantalum.
next.
Saving up like a battery.
I've been regretting this shit all week. I didn't even talk to Wookiee all week.
Regretting
You
it?
can ask him. Not once.
Yeah,
I-
I know. He hasn't. I have not been able to really communicate with.
Wookiee,
I don't
Wookiee,
wanna
why are
fucking-
you-
But I know you're busy. I know you're busy.
He's like
I
a
know
fucking
that.
sexual harassment panda.
Why
He
are you
doesn't
pissing
stop.
off
know.
File? Why are you pissing him
He
off?
fucking
What the
doesn't
hell?
stop.
I don't know. What?
Bro, I felt like I was in a Lifetime movie and somebody was sexually harassing me and no one believed me.
I
was like,
called
yo,
you three
well,
times and left
like,
two
Wookiee's-
messages.
I'm like,
and
yo,
that's
like
it.
Wookiee's touching me in the no spot and fucking no one believes me.
Where in the doll did he touch you, File? Where in the doll did he
Bro,
touch
I
you?
can't even show you.
What the hell?
This fucking stream will get
He
nuked.
pulls a tribble.
We haven't even started yet.
Where on the tribble did he touch you?
Bro, I'm fucking sad right now. Like I'm really like
that,
I'm
a
so
tribble?
fucking
Is
depressed.
it
That's
tribble?
Gossamer.
Oh yeah. Okay. Okay. I can't. Yeah. Nice.
This shit should be a
Gossamer?
study for fucking
Or,
Ah, there you go.
post PTSD.
Q38.
Hey, how many suckers did you bring into the fucking stream today? Let's see.
I don't know.
Hey, what's up, Time
I
Prophet?
got
Yeah,
six.
thanks,
Stink
Prophet.
Stink whistle. I've never seen stink whistle in the chat.
Yeah, it's-
They came
Yeah.
up and posted that they hey you guys smell that? No, I don't smell it.
yeah, leave as fast as you can. You're fucking, there's nothing here.
Oh wait. Time Prophet. He's got to say something. File 13 is wearing his hip hop vest.
I look
from
fucking
the
sexy,
80s.
son.
There
look
you go.
good. I'm
You're looking nice and healthy there, man.
I thank you. I'm fucking trying to.
Very good.
I saw fucking Gavi do his
Yeah,
thing.
I saw his video too. Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
about
yeah.
to challenge his ass on some shit, but I'm waiting on.
He's
it.
actually looking. I can see it in his face. Seriously, I can see he's lost weight in the
Such a
videos.
liar.
I've
Don't lie.
you know-
Don't lie.
no, seriously, dude.
Don't lie. Yeah.
No,
Oh,
wait.
look, it's
Hold
the
on.
rabbit
Oh,
hole.
All the
It's the-
fresh
it's the-
Hey,
The rabbit.
It's the rabbit. Wesley
changed his name
Rabbit.
again?
LOL. Like
What
I
happened
Wookie
to
is
the-
What's up, Bunny?
bumbling. What? Bumbling, cruel, and stumbling.
What happened to
and
telepathic
Abby is
bunny? I like that
mumbling.
title.
Nothing
It's
happened.
Yes, telepathic bunny, bro. You got to change it back to telepathic
Let
bunny.
him let
It's better.
fucking Wookiee
It's
attempt
better.
to read. Go ahead, your stream now.
I don't.
Go.
I can't read. I'm
Your
I'm
turn.
illiterate.
All right, I'll read. Let me guys.
I'm gonna-
What the fuck? Let me guys Wookiee.
Yeah,
What
here
the
we
fuck?
go.
That's not even.
I'll
look,
put it
you're
up
a
so that
fucking
everybody can
writer,
see.
you douche. You should
Let
know
me guys
proper
Wookiee.
grammar. Aren't you a fucking? It
mumbling
says,
and
"Let me
stumbling
guys."
and
Wookiee is
grumbling.
Oh
mumbling,
my
Fall is
gosh,
grumbling,
dude.
Crow is stumbling,
We
and
ha-
Abby is mumbling. It's Saturday.
It's Saturday.
Where the fuck else would you be?
Yeah,
Fucking.
Saturday morning.
All right, so what are we
On
doing?
the thing here? We're
What are we
talking
doing?
about politics, your favorite subject.
Oh, shit.
That's it. The stream's nuked.
We're done.
Woof.
Well, here's the thing. Here's
We've
the thing.
lost
And
File.
I was talking to the guys in the back before we started. There's
Smoke
three
between
basic subjects of politics. There's politics in government, which is a given, because they're all bullshit. They're all assholes. Then there's politics in corporations, and then there's politics in organizations. And so we're seeing this all the time now with corporations.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter who it is. You've got Budweiser, Target, Adidas, Nike, whoever. You see all this bullshit. And then you see organizations have politics. So, like, you've got school districts are an organization. You have teachers unions are an organization. Uh, you know, things like that. All these organizations are getting political, making all these political statements
Yeah.
in their policies and stuff like that. And so, but let's put it for, we'll start off with government because that's the obvious one. Here in the United States, we don't have a two-party system anymore. It's a uniparty because they're all bought and paid for. They're all of them. Doesn't matter what initials next to their frickin' name. They're all loser pieces of crap. They couldn't give two shits about you and me. All they care about is their stock portfolio and their nice padded retirement when they serve 2 terms in Congress.
Right.
It's all shit. And here's something political that happened right here in our state, in my state, this year. Yep. So back at the last quarter of 2022, the state legislature in Arizona, a guy came up with a bill because they'd come across some surplus money. And everybody in this state's been bitching about, oh, teachers need a raise and teachers need this and teachers need that. Okay. So this guy who happened to be a Republican, along with some other Republicans, came up with a bill that we're going to utilize funds that already had, and they were going to distribute those funds to teachers directly. And in the bill, and I read it, I think it's HB or something like that. Is either Assembly Bill or House Bill 2800. And I've read through most of it, skimmed through it. It's not very long, but it made sense. The first year they would give teachers an automatic this school year. If it had passed, it didn't pass, by the way. It got voted down. And it got voted down because of politics. And it was opposed by the teachers union. This bill would have given teachers an automatic $10,000 annual raise, like immediately. The only strings attached to this was accountability. Accountability on the part of the administrators in the district, in the districts that these teachers are in. Whether it's a charter school or public school, the teachers are going to get this particular amount of money. The administrators had to follow certain guidelines of accountability and posting them to where the public can actually see them. Apparently, the teachers union didn't like that. They opposed it for whatever freaking reason. I mean, $10,000 is a lot of freaking money annually, and they would have immediately benefited from it. So they opposed it. And they opposed it because it wasn't a quote-unquote Democrat idea. It was a Republican idea. So if it wasn't a Democrat idea, giving teachers raises, we can't have that. We have to oppose this. And so, it got deep sixed. And all because of politics. They can give 2 shits about teachers. Yes, File, go ahead.
Hey, bro, can you repeat that shit all over again? I was doing something. I'm not even kidding. I'm fucking sorry, man. I'm sorry. I was fucking doing something, and I really did believe. I'm not kidding. This is not even fucking. I thought I could micromanage, but I couldn't. I didn't hear a fucking word you said. Something happened to a teacher, and they gave her $10,000.
No. No.
Sorry.
The legislature of Arizona had to vote on a bill that was going to give teachers a $10,000 raise immediately.
Right.
The funds were basically excess funds that were found in the budget, and they could basically do it for all the teachers. The strings attached in the bill were accountability strings, meaning the districts had to account for publicly where this money went, and it was only designated for the teachers. So they had to basically prove that they were paying the teachers. They had to prove it, that this money was going to them, not to other things in the district.
Right.
That was part of the major strings, was accountability. Because it was a bill that was derived from a Republican assemblyman or a couple of them, the Democrats in the state legislature, along with the teachers union that's primarily leftist anyway, opposed it. They opposed it pretty bad to the point it didn't make it. It didn't get passed because it wasn't a Democrat plan. That's the only reason why. That's politics. They're going to fuck over teachers who are underpaid to begin with. If they'd done this, this teachers in the state of Arizona would have been, I think, the 6th highest paid in the nation.
Right. So this is the way I see it, right? What are they doing in schools, anyways? Like, what are they teaching in schools again?
Not much.
Okay.
Nothing.
Let's look at let's all right. Let's look at in Arizona what they're rated in the country, because do we have? Let me look. I don't have this fucking information, but let's look at those factors there and all the other nonsense that they're teaching. I don't want to give these assholes a raise. So yeah, they don't deserve it. Why would I give somebody money to teach my kids bullshit? Does that make sense?
Yeah, exactly.
See, that's very just like it's one-dimensional thinking. You're like, that's like that other dickhole. And I know everybody's gonna be like, oh no. What's his name? The guy that's always complaining about people from the north? The guy that complains about the rich guys in Virginia. That Oliver guy? Yeah, fuck that guy. Stop complaining. Do something about it. Get to work. I don't want. He's a rich person now because of his complaint song. You realize that? He's not a poor man of the South anymore. He was on Joe Rogan the other day. But yeah, he's relatable. Okay. Thanks, bro. No.
Yes. I'm
sorry. I'm sorry. But look, if you're going to sit there and you're going to tell me that you can relate to this person, I can understand that. But if that's all you're going to tell me, you're not going to fucking do anything about it and get out of your situation, then now you have to tell me, well, what in your life is so fucked up that you can't get out of that situation? I mean, that shit makes me feel fucking funny because I was in that kind of fucking situation. I would never want to go back. Ugh. Yuck. Hey, guys, I was looking at a Porsche.
Was it in packaging that said Hot Wheels on it?
I wish. I actually have it. Hold on.
Say Hot Wheels.
Let me tell you something. The fucking thanks. I actually have it. It's my dream. You know how everybody has their fucking dream car, dream bike. You know what I mean? So my wife asked me, "What the fuck is my dream car, or what the hell's my dream bike?" I never got a chance to think about that. I'm sorry, man. We'll get back into politics. I know we're having fun with that, but I mean, someone's like, "Oh, wait, what does he say?"
Cam.
What's up,
Cam? How's it going? Thanks for being in the chat.
Thanks for being supportive. But yeah, so she asked me all the best stuff I ever wanted. I just ended up telling her, all right, well, I want this bike with all this fancy shit on it, and this car with all this fancy shit on it. So. Fuck, you're absolutely right. Please put that up. Yes, you do. You say you.
Turn down an 8 mil contract. Only
you.
8 mil.
Yeah, sure.
Only
yeah,
8
you
mil.
think do a little bit of reading there, buddy. Okay. Yeah, you don't think he's got you don't think he's getting money. Yeah. All right. Give it a little bit.
Yeah, he's making some cash.
Yeah,
just
he's making his
on his own. He's making money. There's no question about that.
Everybody can have their own. It's capital. Hey, I don't fucking hate. You know what? But people don't sit there and defend him and saying he's doing it for the people. Fuck you. If he was doing it for the people, he would have released it in some other fucking no name. He would have put it in something that wasn't even for no money, with no name, just out there for no recognition. Get the fuck out of here. You put your face on YouTube and you put it out there. It's because you want recognition. If you didn't want recognition, you would have released it on some fucking different name and just put it out there so that people can be inspired. Or what he's all that bullshit. I don't support no side. All that. Get the fuck out of here. Shut
Papa
up.
Cotton.
Yeah.
Papa Cotton in the chat.
Fuck up. Thank you.
I don't care if it's fruity-haired weirdos with a ukulele or some inbred hillbilly with a banjo. All the political music sucks ass.
Yes, thank you. I hate all that shit. All that. There's that other douche, those rapper douches that's like, get on my American. Fuck you. Shut up. You fucking morons. You all these fucking boomers are sitting there. Yeah, all these fucking boomers are sitting. Oh, I love this shit. Shut the fuck up. Idiots.
I'll tell you what, though, he's making some bank on his own. That's fine. But who's backing him?
He found his
Who's
niche.
backing?
Bro, I wish I would have thought of it.
Yeah.
You know, I wish I would have thought of it.
Yeah.
I was thinking about writing a song called "From the Rich Men of the North," and start giving lessons of like, well, maybe you should have gone to school, or maybe you should have excelled, or why haven't you? You know, you hear all the fucking.
You know, my American fucking.
Listen, the only good song that's patriotic that I love is from Team America. That's the only acceptable. Okay, it is the
America.
Yes.
Yeah.
America.
That is the only that is the only acceptable political song that I'll listen to.
Oh shit! We got to
just
File, you need to make a song about not being on a stream on a Saturday morning.
Holy fucking could.
Good old File. Anyway, holy shit.
I spend like over $100, about $100 in cannabis just to get on the stream for an hour.
Oh, good Lord.
I know. That's a lot. I don't know if you guys understand how much it's a lot of money.
Shit.
You know, it's
Holy
like
shit.
I'm like a boxer. I get slapped and stuff. It's like I gotta get ready. Nah, I like coming on the stream. It's good torture.
You'd be the only one.
In the bro? I'll tell you, one of the things I see politically that I was thinking about everything that's going on. I mean, what do you think, Wookie? Where do you think we're standing right now politically in the United States as far as the position between government and people? What is the position?
Oh, it's a
right now?
fucking nightmare. It's a freaking banana republic, dude. The shit that's going on with government, especially federal government, but you see it in the state governments too, in certain states, and even to a lesser extent in like county and municipal governments. It's just ridiculous. Some of the shit that they're doing, the total disregard for their fucking oath of office to, it's no one serves the people. It's like the sign on the side of the freaking cop car, to protect and serve. And it should be followed by my government paycheck. That's what the fuck it is.
My pension.
Right, exactly. There's nothing to do with you, me, or anybody else, or the guy down the block. They could give two fucks. And unless it's an election year, then they'll tell you whatever the fuck you want to hear.
Okay,
just
so here's
to
a
get
question.
Just to get your vote.
Where are we historically? In our history, where are we right now? Because I was having this conversation earlier. History repeats itself. We ever see that? It's what's the word? Cyclic? I think it's the word. Right? Where are we in history?
But what history? Because they're trying to erase history.
American history. Let's go with American history.
But they're trying to erase American history. They're trying to rewrite.
I think what you're having. I think what we're seeing here is you're looking at a situation that's designed to start a division amongst either races, religions, political ideology, all the above. It's nothing but an effort by government to split the people up, pit one group against another group, and just sit back and not give two fucks. We're on the verge of either some sort of civil unrest or more or worse, like a major. You're looking at some shit that happened about 160 freaking years ago, happening again.
Yeah,
in my opinion, and they want it, and that's the thing. The current government and the current philosophy and government, in my opinion, they want the conflict.
Yeah. And then they can just initiate martial law in the name of security and lock you all down.
And it's not just happening here in the United States. It's everywhere. No. Every Western nation is having some of the similar things going on.
Yeah. Because
the United States is the United States is the big prize. Once the United States goes down, There's nowhere else to go.
Aye. It's
There
like
was a
a
book
deck
that
of
came
cards.
out
Going.
several years ago called People's Republic by Kurt Fletcher, and it was
Sorry.
about a national divorce that had already taken place, and you had you had your what they call flyover states. That was traditional America, kind of red states, and then you had your coastal states. Those were the blue states or liberal states, and it's a really good book. It's really funny, some aspects of it, and some aspects are like, holy shit, this is happening now. This book was written like 2012.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah. What's your assessment of where
What's
we're at? File. What?
Well, this is the way that
What
I
is your
see it.
assessment?
We're already nationally divorced. It's just it's not recognized. Here's an example. I'm smoking weed right now in the state of Arizona. Right.
Right.
I can't go into another state with this. Right. Because the laws are different. So I consider that kind of stuff because every state has different laws, different regulations. I can carry a firearm in
You
Arizona.
can come to California with it.
That's what I'm saying. But I can't come to California with my firearm.
No,
you
can't.
Yeah.
So we're already nationally divorced. Okay, we're just playing this political game because it's just, to me, it's just tradition because it's all bullshit. At the end of the day, it's all bullshit. I mean, our tax money's going to fucking Ukraine. We already know that shit.
Yeah.
We got people in Hawaii. I mean, we can go very deep into that shit. So are we nationally divorced? Absolutely. The problem
philosophically,
is,
but
we
as far
are.
as regions, we're not.
But it hasn't started a shooting.
Well, like Florida
we don't
doesn't
have
pay.
we don't have like two separate countries at this point.
Oh no, it's shit.
No.
But it won't happen, and this
No.
is why, because everybody keeps thinking on this. It's the United States is too big for that shit. First of all, everybody thinks, and because everything is amplified on Twitter and all this stuff, we all think in just small scale. Okay, that shit will never happen. Okay, the way that I see it. Okay, we're at the point in politics so I compare it to the Revolutionary War. Okay. That's why I compare where we are right now in United States politics. I don't know about world politics because I'm thinking about firearms because the world has already relinquished their firearms. You know what I mean? A lot of countries haven't had their firearms for such a long time that they don't remember what it's like to actually have them.
Oh yeah.
The United States has always, thank you forefathers for making sure that they put the Second Amendment in there because they knew. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Right.
If you look into the Revolutionary War, the first two battles. Come on, do we have any historians? What were the first two battles of the Revolutionary War? Let's have a little fun here.
I don't recall.
I'm Scottish, so
I know you wouldn't know. All right, so I believe they were Lexington and Concord, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Lexington and Concord was the first two major battles of the Revolutionary War. The reason these locations were major points were because they were weapons depots for civilians. Okay.
Yeah.
The British understood. The British understood that if they took the weapons away from the civilians, they can control the area, right? And so everybody knows that famous "the British are coming, the British are coming." Okay.
Right.
Well, what that was they had guards, they had sentries at these depots, and when they saw that the British were coming, they send out to the civilians to, hey, the British are coming. It's time to get our fucking guns.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so they got there, and before the British got there, the civilians were armed. All right. History repeats itself. Look at what they're trying to do for us now. They're slowly trying to take away that firearm because that's the only way they can have control. Even in large scale.
Right.
You know, like California, you can still have a firearm even if you got to jump through loops. You know what I mean?
Right.
They just make it difficult.
Right.
I mean, you can get some firearms here, but you have to jump through a whole bunch of loops.
Yeah.
I can go to the store right now and go buy a firearm in less than an hour. You know what I mean? That's how I can do in this.
And walk
Driver's
out
license and walk out. Hey, can I get some ammo too? All right, we're good. Not every state has that right, but trust me, everybody has firearms. You can get it in the United States if you really believe. And this is something that I don't agree with, Wookie. They're trying division, right? They're always going to try division, and I understand that. But when the fucking shit hits the fan, division goes away, and everybody sees who the enemy is. You know, you can see that. And I want to give an example of like Trump. Let's talk about Trump for a second. Trump's mugshot has awakened so many people. And some people are like, oh, you people are stereotyping the black neighborhood because of a mugshot. No, they can relate. Let's just fucking be honest. Yeah. They can relate because black people, Hispanics, they've been persecuted or they believe they've been persecuted by law enforcement. If they can relate, they can relate. Why can we not mention that shit? You know what I mean? What gives us not the right to say that shit? Because it's true. They've said it themselves, so why not amplify it? You know,
but it goes against somebody's narrative. That's the problem.
Yeah, and it's fucking stupid. Exactly. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's stupid. The more people wake up to this shit, Trump might have done some mistakes when he was fucking president, and I didn't agree with a lot of stuff he did. Okay, but compared to what we've had in the past and what it did with my pocket. Now, I was very happy. Okay?
Absolutely,
because I think with money, fuck what's the end of your shit.
Yeah.
What can you do for my wallet? Because that's how everybody should think. What are you going to do for me? You know,
exactly.
If it's going to make it easier for you to pay the bills, I mean, that's a good thing. And if it helps other people pay the bills, what's wrong with that?
Exactly. I mean, you look at it like from a personal. Under him. Look from my personal experience before the pandemic, when he was elected, right? Probably whenever he did that withholding tax, you know, he reduced the
tax code.
Yeah, that was a big, huge. I mean, not very much. I'm talking about in the scheme of things, man. What I got like an extra $50, $75 a check.
Yeah, but if a person was establishing a business, it was perfect.
Right, exactly.
It was perfect
exactly. But that extra $50 to $75 a fucking check, because they weren't taking it out of for taxes, that gave me more money to buy other things, like not just food and gas. I could buy, you know, a fucking microphone. I could buy a microphone. I could buy whatever.
Bud Light.
You know, Bud Light.
Bud Light Lime. Yeah, Bud Light Lime.
No. That's the can from the last stream.
I knew that his voice sounded a little bit more fucking like a woman.
Frame that. No,
every stream. Every stream
he sounds with the feminine Wookie.
He sounds more like that fucking. Who's that fucking tranny that won that award? I really don't know.
The one that tanked Bud Light.
Yeah, Dylan Mulvaney. That's what Wookie starts sounding like. He's like,
dude. The dude in woman.
Oh my god.
I just finished
drinking Bud Light, I assure you.
My
voice is perfectly fine. It's normal.
This is a political stream. I can't say that.
How dare you? You've stolen Wookie's stream.
How dare you?
God.
No, holy shit. But yeah, I mean, you have more money. I had a few extra dollars. I was able to buy I was able to get some freaking woodworking tools. I got tools. I got power tools, stuff like that. And as soon as the gas
tools too.
Yeah, dude, I got tools. Yeah, I got tools. I got so many tools.
Yeah. Abby's got some farming equipment. He's got some implements. So, but no, I mean seriously, the amount of money I had in my pocket, or we had in our pockets, because he was in office with everything else being lower. I mean, ever since Biden got into office, immediately the gas prices went up because they attacked the oil industry and refineries. Mm-hmm. You know, and with government regulations, this is now a lot of people don't understand. There's a difference. There's a big, huge thing, or there's a path that oil travels to get to your gas tank, and that path includes refining. And to a lot of people, they don't understand that there are less refineries now than there were 20, 30 years ago.
Right.
There's less refineries. The state of California has 5 refineries. 4 now. They have 4 now. But when I lived there, they had 5. But they have 5 refineries. At any one time, there was a minimum of 3 of those 5 shut down for maintenance or whatever else.
Yeah, maintenance.
So, right. Because they have to produce gas not only for the state of California, which
gas.
is gas.
He said gas.
They have to, they have to produce.
Yeah, we're all sick.
Gasoline,
methane.
Methane.
We're all 6 years old on this stream.
Yeah. But they have to produce this gas for the state of California, which has a high requirement of all this ethanol bullshit that they want to jam
Additives
into it to dilute it. Yeah, to dilute it. Summer blend, winter blend, all that bullshit. But then these same refineries are refining gas for other states that don't have those things. Some of the gas comes to Arizona, some of the gas goes to Nevada, and then other states farther north.
Yeah, we get summer gas and winter gas. You know that, right, Wookie?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't think we did, but yeah, it does not surprise me if we do.
We get summer gas and we get winter gas in Arizona. Fucking assholes.
I know, right?
Yeah. Hey, look, can you bring that up? Because I did want to bring that up too. Time profits little thing.
Which one?
About the comment about the slides, please. I don't even care. My face is covered. It's that important.
Hang on a second.
Thank you. Can we have some more slides? I am falling asleep. Hey, I thought we were going to have some slides too.
Yep. Yep. Major time. We don't have.
It's a no slide Saturday.
Yeah, but this is a conservative kind of stream.
He went budget this weekend.
This is bullshit. But this weekend, holy fuck! I don't budget every weekend. If this is budget, fuck. Are we fucking jerking off fucking people in the neck? What the fuck? Shit?
Okay.
Where's my shotgun? Okay, so back to politics. What were we saying? Looking.
Politics controls everything. It controls our gas and oil industries. Fucking Walmart's political.
No, it's
Target.
people. It's
political.
people.
People
People control it. It's just people. We allow
people
it.
That are in these industries.
We allow it. We allow it. As people
that sneak into these organizations and fucking they start running shit, and then they just go along with whatever they're told to go along with.
Who goes
it's
along
the
with
old,
it?
right. All these
who goes along with it?
Oh, I don't know. Corporations, the CEOs, and all the people.
Who goes along? Who goes along with the stuff that the companies are doing? Who goes with it? The employees, right?
Oh yeah, they have to. They want to check.
They don't have to. They don't.
If they want to check, they gotta.
They gotta
toe the line.
It's a choice.
Yeah, it's a choice between getting a check and not getting a check.
And that is how people test your thresholds. I see it like this. If you got a building full of people, right, and everybody in the building says, you know what, something's not right here. Let's all get out of the building, right? And we're not going to work in this place, and that's it. Everybody gets out of the building, right? This fucking place is done.
You're right, Timothy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, of course it rules everything, but I mean, are you? So what is the threshold? So if money is that the threshold for everyone? Money?
For a lot of people, because they don't have it.
Fuck,
yeah,
that's sad.
I would rather not have money.
Why do you think the administration throws? They have a disaster. We'll throw some relief money to them. It's not a lot of money, granted, but it's money.
Yeah.
But that's
$700 a freaking household is nothing.
Yeah,
nothing
in comparison to the billions they've shipped over to a country that's one, not an ally, two, not a member of the NATO pact, which we are, and not member, any of that shit. But we're sending them a fuck ton of money to do what?
Quite a lot, isn't it?
But you're comparing two things, and you're simplifying the situation. That the people in Hawaii had no choice with what happened, unless you get into the whole fucking
they were trapped.
Thing, whatever,
pretty much.
Okay?
They're trapped,
and that's one thing. You know what I mean? Those fuckers should be getting a ton of money and a bunch of assistance, and not have The Rock and fucking Oprah
I saw that
doing a money scam. Okay,
those
so
two.
that's not what they need.
Yeah,
but
I saw that.
Those people didn't have a choice. What I'm talking about is a person that's working somewhere that is abiding by these policies that they completely do not believe in, And my question is the money the threshold? Because here's an example. All this fucking time with the vax shit, right? They were telling people fucking, hey, if you don't get the fucking vax, you're gonna lose your job, right?
Right.
People quit the job, people didn't quit the job. Some people took the vax, some people didn't take the vax. What did that show to people? You know what I mean? Like, what are there to themselves? Like, what is the threshold there? You know what I mean? Right. Is it worth it? Is it not worth it? And that's the fucking decision that people made. But how do you look at people after that? You know what I mean? Do you look at them the same? Do you think about them the same? Being you understand the thresholds that they have. If that's just that basic shit of an employment, what if we're to a point where employment doesn't matter and we're fighting for this country? And you understand that this person, their threshold is very basic. How do you know that won't be something they won't do in the future? You know what I mean? This country's because fucking if money is the threshold, see, I can't be fucking bought. It's the way that I see myself. Money don't mean shit to me. I left jobs for fucking really good jobs for nothing because my principles are that fucked up. Not fucked up, but you know what I mean? I have a very fucking...
You know what I've got going through my mind now? The $1 million man. Everybody's got a price.
Bro, does everybody have a price? That's the question. What is the price that people are willing to, is there a threshold? You know what I mean? And that's a lot of concern that people don't even think about. What is a person's threshold when it really comes down to it? If we really I really hope we never get into a situation where this country starts doing some fucking civil war action. It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's
absolutely
terrible.
Right, Timothy?
Nobody wants
absolutely.
That's the last thing anything. Yeah.
Well, the thing is too, I think you got to look at everybody's individual situation. You have people that have far more responsibilities as far as children or a household to run, or and things of that have to have that job to provide for them, because if they can't provide for their loved ones, what's going to happen? No one else is going to provide for them.
Yeah.
But then you have to ask yourself, there were people in the military that left 20 plus, 15 plus year careers because they were told either you get the shot or we have to put you out. So these people, people said, fuck it, 15 years in the service and say, fuck it.
That shouldn't have happened.
Of course. Absolutely. But they made a choice. They said, you know what? And I'm
sure they thought about that choice with you wholeheartedly and couldn't,
and that's one of the things I like about Trump. And going back to Trump, because I know a lot of people he said that if he gets back in office, he would try to get these people back in service, reinstated at their rank with full back pay. And that's fucking awesome.
Yep.
You know what
exactly.
I mean? And that's what these people deserve.
That would be really great.
Yeah.
And getting back and talking about the vaccine and the COVID shit, on our side, Biden's trying to start this shit again.
Yeah.
God, you fucking... I like that shirt, by the way. Please tell me where you got that. That's awesome.
I got a friend who runs a podcast who does these shirts.
That's fucking awesome. Please show it off. Oh, we went into virology.
Yeah, there we go.
Already?
Nice.
God damn. Shit. This is the way I really think. If we just fucking... We got to stay off the internet. We really do. Okay, I'm gonna say bye, fuckers. No, seriously.
Oh my God.
We're fucked in this. If we keep letting these fucking politicians anywhere in this world, all right? Yeah, thank you, Time Prophet. I feel the same. We're fucked. We are really all screwed. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I know. Yeah, you wanted to.
So. Yeah, we are screwed, but you have, the funny thing is they're demonizing, the demonization of people who are claiming there was issues with elections, whether it's local, state, or federal elections.
Oh, yes.
That's what's going on with Trump. They're persecuting Trump because he said, hey, something fishy was going on here in a couple of these states, and there was proof because there were witnesses that took they had under penalty of perjury made statements which have never been proven wrong. None of these people, there was over 700 of them throughout the nation, came forward and said, hey, I saw some shit going down, some shenanigans that weren't right. I questioned it. They told me to keep my mouth shut. things like that. But there's a situation where in the state of Mississippi, there was a county supervisor, a Democrat. They were in an election. I don't know what he was running for, probably for some state position. This county supervisor didn't get the nomination in the primary. Well, he found an enormous amount of fraud in the election for his primary, and he's brought that out. He's in the state of Mississippi, and he's a black Democrat, and he's saying there was some shenanigans in my election, my campaign, and my election. So
yes, I saw that this morning. That was very interesting.
Yeah. Oh
yeah.
So you're going to start seeing stuff like that, and
well, they see the ship is sinking too. I mean, you got to be a fucking moron not to say that this guy is just a puppet. Like he's just up there. He's a fucking, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
that McConnell,
in my opinion,
McConnell's like
McConnell.
Yeah, McConnell. All these motherfuckers. Here's another thing. Somebody.
Oh, hey guys, I got to get off for a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna try to jump back on, but I got to head off. I apologize, but Wookie, you know why?
No, thanks, man. Yeah, come back on if you can.
Love you guys. If I can get back on, I'll jump back on. Okay.
Okay. All right, man.
All right. Adios, muchachos.
All right. Thank you, my friend.
See ya.
So I mean, go ahead, Kroll.
I was just thinking. I was thinking about this the other day. In terms of politics, as the masses, we're pretty fucking stupid because we let these leaders do whatever the hell they want, get away with it, and at any point, realistically, we could put our foot down and say no. But it's the whole divide and conquer retro thingamabob.
Exactly. Yes.
I think we're gullible as a society.
You're having.
Exactly.
But here's another thing. So the first thing that started, and you can track the beginning of a lot of the things that are happening now. You can track it back 30, 40 years ago when the small things. See, here's the thing. Little things add up over time. Little things, and you take things away little by little over time. Okay, as a whole collective. I'm not talking about one person or one group of people who have been in office for 40 years, although that happens. But you have a collective, a hive mind that has the same philosophy, the same ideology, and they want the same goals. It's like they've passed down their DNA to the next generation of tyrants. Okay.
Yeah.
So this happened when you had the campaign in Europe, Canada, Australia, all the Western world about taking away your firearms. In Europe, in England, in Canada, in frickin' Australia. I mean, and they went ahead and they did this under the guise of safety. Right. And all this safety and security. Well, we can't have these firearms. No, they took them away because they don't want you to fucking fight the government. That's the whole point of our Second Amendment in the U.S. Constitution. And there's a big, huge thing that happened here less than 100 years ago in this country where a group of people got together because there was some election shenanigans in a city or a county in the United States.
Yeah.
A bunch of freaking World War II veterans said, we've had enough of this bullshit.
Battle of Athens.
They broke into the freaking National Guard armory, got themselves a bunch of weapons, and confronted the corrupt sheriff and mayor of that freaking town. And they had a shootout in that freaking town. So you had all the local sheriffs, the cop, the police, and the mayor were trapped in a building because what they were doing is they took the election boxes, the ballot boxes, and they were going to take them inside and freaking,
well, they weren't.
And they've been doing this for a long time, and because all the people got together.
They weren't letting
talking amongst themselves.
The color guys vote.
Right.
All right.
And all the people in the city or that locale got together, started talking to each other. Well, who'd you vote for? Well, what did you vote for? This, and they started putting two and two together, and they said, "Hey, this shit don't add up. How the fuck did all of us who voted, we voted one way, but yet it goes the other way? Who the hell else is there? Well, there wasn't anybody else. It was the fucking corrupt police chief and his officers and the frickin' mayor. Okay? They controlled all that shit. And not only that, they would go around and they would beat up people for questioning shit like that. So there was people that were getting beat up, thrown in jail for no fucking reason. So they were using their post in government and in law under the color of law and the cover of law to be tyrants. And these veterans had enough of this shit. They got together, they had a plan, and they fucking stuck to it. And by the time the FBI fucking showed up, they had all these motherfuckers lined up in handcuffs and fucking waiting for the feds to show the hell up, and had all the evidence, had all the rigged ballots and all the shit. And all these motherfuckers went to prison. And that was done in the late 1940s. So it's not too far after World War II here in the United States. And so we have evidence of that. Well, guess what? Our government don't want that shit to happen because they're leftists. These fucking leftists are just like this mayor and this police chief in this town in the late 1940s. First of all, they're racists. Everyone in fucking government, and especially the federal government, in my opinion, because of the shit that I've seen, are racists. Okay? They are thieves. They are liars. And they are power hungry. They want power. They want it all. They want to control you.
Right.
They want to tell you what kind of toilet you can use, what kind of fucking stove you can have, what ceiling fan you can have, what type of windows you can have in your house, what color fucking carpet you can have. You know what? That's what they want. They want to control you. And now they're attacking the food. I mean, what? In the United States, we had over 20 food processing plants mysteriously just burned to the fucking ground.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. What was that last year?
Yeah, it was, I think, in 22, maybe 21, 22. We've had people who are taking farm subsidies, getting letters from the government because they get farm subsidies, meaning you're getting welfare from the government, so you're going to do this or we're going to cut your check off, basically. Right. So they got letters, ranchers, dairymen, hog farmers. These people were getting letters saying, you got to 86 this. You got to dump all your fucking dairy milk. You got to kill all your fucking cows or half or 20% or some bullshit like this. Okay. Then they're shutting down slaughterhouses. Okay. Yeah, well, and then they're making it tough for people who want to have their own slaughterhouses. They get together to make a business to be self-sufficient. They come down on these people with regulations.
Right. That's what I was going to say. It's obviously they want to do away with being self-sufficient.
Yes.
So that you have to rely on the government and thus they can own you, basically.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's what part of the lockdowns was about because, they wanted everybody to stay home. So they paid them like these subsidies, checks that came out every so many months. I mean, it's funny because they give these checks of what, $1,300 and stuff. Who can live off of $1,300 in 1 month, or let alone 3 or 4 months that they were had to do? They weren't. A lot of these people weren't getting unemployment. So I mean, what was going? How are these people surviving?
I don't think that anybody should have. Basically, I don't think any industries should have subsidies, because here's how I look at it. It's basically, it's like extortion from the mob. Okay, so the mobster, the lieutenant, he's going to go over here to this guy who owns and runs a mom and pop, I don't know, dry cleaning service. So they're going to go in there and they're going to talk to him and say, hey, look, I hear you guys are hard up for money. Stuff's getting tight. Hey, we're going to do you a favor. We're going to give you some money. And in return, you're going to start paying us back all the time until we feel it's over. So they're going to give you this money, but now you got to do something for them. That's kind of how this is with government subsidies. Government subsidies in the farming industry is a main reason why when I drive into California through fucking farming country, through fields, hundreds and hundreds of fields, they're all fucking empty.
Yeah.
Because they've been told, don't plant, otherwise you could risk losing your subsidy. You
Did
could
you,
be losing that money that we
did,
subsidize
did
because
you
we're trying to
did you by
control the market.
chance? Yeah. Did you by chance happen to see on, I think it was Fox News, Sammy the Bull Gravano?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see that? Yeah. Okay.
Anyway.
Well, yeah.
No, go ahead, Krill. I apologize. Go ahead.
Did you see? Did you see Sammy the Bull Gravano on Fox News talking about the Biden's family being a criminal family?
Yeah.
You see that?
I didn't see him, but there's another former mob guy that was definitely talking about the prison that Jeffrey Epstein was killed in, or I'm sorry, committed suicide. And he said it's completely fucking impossible for him to commit suicide there.
Okay.
It was
Who was
completely impossible. It was another mob guy who had gotten out of prison. He served time in that prison, in that same cell block as Epstein years before.
that?
But the process
Michael
is
Francis, maybe?
no, not
Michael
Francis. This is a different guy. No, not Michael Francis. I know. I've seen a lot of stuff on him. He's got some good
same.
info. But the other
Yeah.
guy was talking about how corrupt these guards could be, and they could be paid off, or how
Right,
they
yeah.
did it. And
Yeah.
how they did it was they these two guys just don't go to sleep. These guards are claiming the guards fell asleep and all this other bullshit. He says they don't.
No.
He says that's bullshit story, because the procedures and processes that they use, they don't. They check on shit every 2 hours, and
Yeah.
there's more than one guard, and they double check each other. Said for both of these guards to be asleep is impossible. He said it's impossible. So yeah. So no, I missed the Sammy Bull stuff, and I've listened to him talk about some about some stuff before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so what did he say? Was
He
he
was
said that
basically he
Go ahead.
was asked if he thought that the Biden family was like a crime family, to which he said it was. It was basically perfect predicates of the RICO Act,
Mhm.
essentially what they've done.
Yeah.
So
doesn't surprise me.
yeah, and
I mean, they're
amongst
finding-
other things. It's just
Yeah.
that the streets were safer when the mob was in full swing.
In some respects, that's correct, especially when they owned Vegas. When they
Oh,
owned
yeah.
Vegas,
Oh,
you
yeah.
could someone who was playing. It doesn't matter what game it was. You could leave a stack of money on the side of a roulette table, walk away to go take a whiz, come back, and that money's not. It's going to be there, and no one's going to fucking touch it, because no one's going to. As soon as you lay one finger on it, and it ain't yours, you're done.
Oh yeah,
You ain't getting out of there with the mob. Now you have all
Yeah.
kinds of different BS going on. But I mean, good, bad, ugly. It's, whether it's politicians doing it or it's mob. The funny thing is what the government does, they claim it's legal
Yeah.
because they can get away with it. With you or I do the same thing, we're criminals.
Well,
You know,
let's go back to
they run
let's go back-
they run the racket. They run an extortion racket. Government does. Like I said, it doesn't matter who it is: Republican, Democrat, Independent. It doesn't matter. They're all part of the same fucking crowd. They're part of the same club, and we ain't in that club.
Well, I saw a news article today. I mean, yesterday, and the article was something about the whole indictment with Trump and stuff like that.
yeah,
But something about like the jury might find Trump guilty of, election denying. It's like, that's not a crime. They're
No,
trying
it's
to make
not a
it
crime.
to say, I don't believe this election. I don't think
Right.
it was
It's
right.
what it is what they're trying
They
to
did
do
that
is
to
they're
him.
trying to-
Yeah,
for 4
Yeah.
years.
but it's not a crime. You can.
they're
voice
claiming that what he did. What they're doing is they're inventing a crime to fit the person. There was no
Oh, yeah.
crime. There was no crime. They were actually all these people that got arrested, all these other people that got arrested for the Atlanta bullshit. All these people were basically attorneys who were presenting. Some of these people actually went before legislatures and showed them evidence, showed them the hard fucking receipts of shit going on, actually in real time, showing them that these machines could be hacked into remotely, that they were plugged into the frickin' internet. And they were all stunned. That's why, because these people, these other 18 people, along with Trump, exposed the corruption, and they don't want you to see it. They don't want you to know about that. That's what the fuck was going on. That's why you had all these judges coming out. I remember when Rudy Giuliani approached the judge, they were going in for a hearing to whatever, and the judge said, "Well, you have no standing." What do you mean you have no fucking standing? You know, I mean, or they would dismiss it on a procedural bullshit. What? Yeah. A former attorney, a fucking district attorney, United States government freaking guy, the most successful freaking criminal prosecutor the federal government ever had in New York.
Southern District of New York.
Right. Yeah, he ran the fucking shit. He put away a whole shitload of freaking mobsters and stuff like criminals. Yeah. And yet they're claiming he didn't do something. There's a procedural bullshit, or he didn't have standing. No one had standing. Trump didn't have standing. See, it's like that. That right there tells you that the judges are just as freaking corrupt as the politicians who nominate them.
Oh, they've been there for life.
Just as corrupt. Because you look at these judges right now that are going through all this stuff with Trump and these separate cases. All these people are political ideologues.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? You often hear about, so-and-so is a Democrat judge and so-and-so is a conservative judge, or whatever the case may be. Right. And it's a case of, that's the problem right there. That's right. The justice system should not be political.
It's not.
It shouldn't.
It's supposed to be.
You know what I mean? It
should be based on law.
It's supposed to be based on law.
Law is law.
Yes,
law is
exactly.
Law. So,
and that's what's going. But what's going? Yeah, but what's going on here is, and I listen to a lot of legal freaking talking heads and shit. There's some that I trust. There's others I couldn't give two shits about. But a lot of them did say, even the ones I don't like, said that all this bullshit going on in all these different courts with Trump, first, is unprecedented, and second, it's obviously election interference for the current election cycle. And the next thing is, all these fucking things would more than likely get kicked out if he was convicted on any of these things, kicked out in appeals court, because they're all bullshit.
Right.
And all these indictments, you have to understand one thing about an indictment. Indictment and an indictment is, you get a jury together, a quote unquote grand jury together. They listen to evidence from one side only.
Right.
Nothing else. One side only. Prosecution. The prosecution can tell them and show them documents on anything they fucking want them to believe. Okay? There's no cross-examination. There's no, someone else presenting their side of the story.
Objections.
There's none of that shit. It's all part of the prosecution, their plan to try to get this person into court. Now,
right.
And that's,
well, that's biased right there.
Yeah, but that's how our system works for indictments and stuff. I mean, but what they did here was, why, I know they tried to freaking, they tried to get Trump on this bullshit and impeachment. They didn't have the evidence.
Right. That's usually helpful.
Yeah, exactly. So two impeachments that got kicked out, it didn't matter.
It was Congress, but it was Congress right down, political lines. Those impeachments were voted on in Congress right down political lines. You didn't have a, when it got to the Senate,
it was all politics.
They said they didn't have enough evidence to prosecute, whatever, So
of course, because there's no evidence of any wrongdoing on his side.
Right.
But there's the stuff that they want you to believe. And this goes back to politics in organizations like media. The media runs with this shit and plasters it everywhere, whether it's in print, which has already been dead for a long time, but on social media And on the television and on the radio, the freaking propaganda machine was what I call the mainstream media. They are the political propaganda distributors.
Well, that's it.
They want you to say, they want you to think.
News and media is supposed to be impartial as well. So, it's supposed to be impartial. All of it, all that stuff.
There's not been a freaking honest journalist in mainstream broadcasting probably since freaking Walter Cronkite. And he was a flaming freaking liberal, leftist retard himself. But you'd never know it. You'd never know it. But I remember Walter Cronkite.
I remember the name.
People would listen to him. Politicians, would listen. I remember the big one of Lyndon Baines Johnson when he was president had said, "If I lose Walter Cronkite, I lose everybody," because there was some kind of thing going on and politically and shit. And Walter Cronkite was talking negative about LBJ, and he's like, "Oh shit! If I lose Walter Cronkite, I lose everything." And I think that that was probably one of the reasons why he didn't run for re-election. But media has a big part to play in the political in steering the political narrative. If these freaking people in media were actually journalists and actually did their job and actually asked the tough questions and started probing into shit that they actually need to be probing into,
that's what journalists.
The freaking government would be. You wouldn't have a whole lot of this shit going on right now, because the press would be holding the government accountable for their actions, and they're not. They are part of the propaganda. They've been infiltrated. Yeah, they've been infiltrated by ideologues.
Like this now.
We already know. I already know that a lot of the mainstream media. This goes back to the '60s. Had been infiltrated by the CIA to frickin' make sure that any foreign reporting was steered in a certain way. Okay, and they're still there. Fucking Anderson Cooper at CNN is a CIA agent. Former, but he was. Well, there's no formers.
That's the way to say. Once you're in, really, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Right. Whether once you're in, you're in. Yeah. You may not be working, officially, but you're working. You're working.
You'll always be in the club if that sort of thing. Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah. Oh man, someone's here. I hear the dog barking. Give me a few minutes, guys. I'll be right back.
Will you?
Yes, I will.
Maybe it's the hit squad.
Black helicopters.
We'll just hear the. You're talking about the government.
Yes.
Oh, what
Alex
a nightmare,
Jones.
Is it?
No, and I was going to ask about, these poor bastards, these January 6th people who are being detained still,
The Proud Boys, isn't it? The Proud Boys?
Well, there's that, and then there's other people that were there that are still, in these cells in D.C. somewhere.
One of the dudes has gone down for it or something, I believe.
With horrible conditions, whatever they are. I mean, that's what you hear anyway. But it's just, where's their due process? My thing. I mean, they've been locked up for, a year, 2 at this point?
I don't know. It's a while, isn't it? I mean, I don't know what the hell they're going to do with that. It's just one of them things. One of them things. It's just, in my opinion, a staged event.
Yeah.
Or taken out of context at the very least. So
they've already showed through the timelines and stuff like that certain things couldn't have happened in the time that they're trying to present.
Well, that's it. They say? Tell a lie enough times and it'll become the truth or something. So
right.
That's it. That's the thing, isn't it? And with history being erased and things like that, it's a case of, well, was it true to begin with?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
How much of what we've been taught is actually fact and true? Because if they can just delete it, then, well, there you go. Makes you wonder.
Right.
Are we the baddies?
Who knows? And that, I just.
I mean, if you look at politicians, I mean, I don't even consider politicians anymore. Just
No, they're
businessmen
not.
and women,
Well,
just
I mean,
in it for the money.
George Carlin said it right. I mean,
Oh yeah,
these people went to the same universities, are part of the same clubs and same organizations, same country
yep,
clubs and stuff like that, and they all have the same types of goals.
yeah.
So they're intertwined, and they're going to, what they, you know,
You remember the one of the teaser trailers for Terminator 2, and you just see the whole bunch of Terminators coming off the conveyor belt, the assembly line.
yeah,
They're like that. They're like that. They're coming off an assembly line. These
yeah,
politicians, because they're all the same basically. And if there are such a thing as good politicians, they're the ones that never get heard from and the ones that never get elected into anything.
Well,
Well,
they're in office for one term and then they're out
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
just there and
Well,
then go on the next.
because they get no
You-
support from their parties.
right. Abby, you remember the big Tea Party movement? Remember that? Was it at 2010 or 2012?
It was in Obama's
I think it was 12.
second term.
Yeah, it was
election.
2012 was when it was, wasn't it?
Yeah,
All these people that ran for House seats and stuff like that, and they actually won. And then you saw all this leadership from these House leaders. They were all, they were pissed off that all these, Joe Publics got fucking elected, and
Yeah.
some of these guys got freaking primaried, which was
Yeah.
great. Some of these
Right.
asshole politicians that have been in for a while, they got primaried by, just some, Joe off the street that's tired of this shit, and it resonated with everybody, and they had a story
Yeah.
to tell. Well, then they fucking ended up getting these guys out, or when they were in, because there was a lot of them. It was a big turning point. It was a big deal. Okay, and that's why Paul Ryan that's how he became Speaker of the House.
right.
And because of all these Republicans got elected, they took over seats, and some of these Republicans that have been in office got freaking primaried by these guys and won. The problem is that any of these guys that got primaried by these upstart people, Joe Public, never got a lot of backing from the party.
No.
They never got a lot of backing from the party because they're not part of the club.
No, it's
Okay.
not. It's not in their
And the-
interests. So
Yeah, exactly. It's not in their interests. So what happened to these guys? They served one term and they either got primaried or whatever, or they got primaried or they got pressured
All right.
into not being as gung ho as they were, and they were bought off basically.
yeah,
Bought off.
We
And
had-
that's the thing, because all these Tea Party guys were very, very gung ho. They were very, very, let's do some shit. Let's get some stuff done. Let's get our, our country back to where it needs to be, for the people, by the people, and not, for and by the government. It should be for and by the people, not.
we had a recall election here last year in California, and they had a guy named Larry Elder who is black, and he was a talk show host and stuff like that.
Yep.
He is outside of the political animal. He is an outsider. He's like Trump almost in that regard.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of support for him. But when it came
Yes.
time for the election and stuff, for the recall, the Republican Party
Yep.
didn't support him.
No, they didn't. They
And
didn't.
that's why we still
And-
have this idiot in office here.
Exactly.
If
Exactly,
he would
yeah.
have gotten any kind of support from the
Yeah, Larry Elder would have been
Party.
governor right now.
He
He'd be
would have been
governor right
governor.
now of California. But yeah,
Right.
they didn't give him that. This is the establishment.
Yes.
That's why I say these Republicans aren't worth a shit. The RNC, the Republican National Committee, is. I love. There's a line that Dan Bongino uses a lot on
That's
his
why I
show.
put independent. On
He
my
says,
voting.
"Yeah, I'm unaffiliated." As soon as I moved to this state,
Right.
and I had to register to vote, I put unaffiliated. I'm not Democrat.
Right.
I'm not Republican. I'm unaffiliated. But the only problem with that is I can't vote in primaries, but I can vote in generals. So, but anyway, Dan Bongino says something awesome all the time on his show. He says, no Democrat is a Republican, but most Republicans are actually Democrats. That's fucking true. There's
Yes.
no truer statement than that. as far as the United States politics is concerned.
Yeah.
You know, that's true. So you have people getting all excited.
Here.
That,
It's the same here in many ways. With
your guys's
yeah, it's the same here with our.
What is it? The Tories
our
and
Conservative
what?
Party or the
Labour
Tories.
Party.
Yeah. Tories are the Conservatives, and they're pretty much Labour, and Labour is Labour, and they're all the bloody same. So
exactly. You have a unit. That's why
if
people keep talking about the uniparty. You know, none of them give a shit about.
Yeah, it's supposed to be I would say it's supposed to be a two-party system, but the Labour and Tories are the main ones. But you've got Lib Dems, you've got the Greens, you've got whatever other fucking parties there are. You know, like Reform UK and stuff. It's
right.
I don't know. It's just it's all the same.
Yeah. Time profit.
Boobs. We are talking about.
You're
We are
right,
talking
yeah.
about boobs. They're politicians.
about boobs.
They're political boobs.
The political boobs, not the
Political
physical
boobs.
boobs on females.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. You know, the thing is, but you have all these things. You look at case in point. My whole point was bringing up that education bill. It actually wasn't an education bill; it was a teacher
Right.
bill, and it was It was the headline on the bill. The name of the bill was "Pay Teachers First Act." That's what it was. Pay Teachers First Act, and the union, the teachers union, which are useless. Teachers union was fighting against it. They claimed, "Oh, it didn't do anything for the bus drivers or the janitors." Was never intended to. That's the thing.
They make
You don't hear, and there's no real. I don't think there's a union for the janitors or the bus drivers at schools. Anyway, I don't know. I don't think
Right.
there is. They're not part of the teachers union.
No.
But you know, this money would have been good money for every teacher. It didn't matter what your political background was as a teacher. You would get the money.
Right.
And
Right.
they're part of the liberal, I call them leftists. The leftist run education union
Yeah.
battled against it and got all the leftist freaking Democrats and all the rhino Republicans to vote it down. Okay. From what I understand. I mean, it could have gone far. It could have gone all the way up to the governor's desk and she vetoed it. It's possible. I don't know. But there was a bunch of pushback on that. Because every time something goes down here in this state for education, oh, the teachers are this and the teachers this, and they need to get more money and the blah blah blah. Well, you give them fucking a way to get money, and what happens? Their own fucking union says, "No, fuck them. We don't want them to have money."
Fuck off.
It's
That
like,
makes sense.
remember in Wisconsin when they did that shit in the freaking state of Wisconsin years ago? This was back in 2014 or whatever like that.
Yeah.
The governor there and the legislature,
They got rid of the union.
they came up and passed. They didn't get rid of the unions. What they did was they made union dues voluntary. I think.
Yes.
They made them voluntary, so they couldn't just arbitrarily yank the dues out of their freaking pay. Pissed off the freaking unions because, listen, any union. Any fucking union, it doesn't matter what it is, machinist union, the fucking airline union, the teachers union, doesn't matter. It's a union. They're all leftist centric, and they all want your money because they're fighting for you. Yet they stab you in the fucking back more times than they actually help you.
I have a question.
They're members.
So if there's a union, you work at a job that you're part
You
of
have a union shop. Yep.
Okay. So, why is the union allowed to say that company, say a grocery store, say like Vons or something like that, right? Why is that union allowed to go in and have a payroll deduction on a Vons paycheck paid to them?
Because
shouldn't it be the member writing a check to the union and sending in their dues?
It's part of the contract with the company.
Well,
It's part of the contract
and that's
with
the problem.
bonds. That's the thing. Yes, exactly. I remember because for a very short time, I don't know if you remember this, Richard, but I worked for Albertsons for about 90 days
Yes.
until they were getting ready to yank my fucking yank the dues out of my paycheck. And when I saw how much money they were going to pull out of my freaking paycheck, because I was only working like 10, 12 hours a week. It wasn't a big deal, right? They were going to pull. Now, I was working about 10 to 12 hours a week, every week. It was like under 16 hours. And they were going to pull out full union benefits.
Yeah.
After 90 days. That would have pretty much taken a minimum of 50% of my check, but it would have been more.
Right.
Just on union dues. And I found out about that, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? And I'm like, this is bullshit. Right. Now, before that time, I remember there was people coming in for the union, and they'd come in like a union rep or whoever it was. He would come in the break room and, yuck it up with everybody, blah, 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 right? And I guess there was, when the unions went on strike, I think this was prior to my coming on board. That's the reason why I got hired, was I got hired during the strike. So they were hiring people. Albertsons was hiring people. And shortly after they got hired, the strike was kind of over with, right? And so they retained me for a while. Then they were going to, after the 90 days, they're going to take out dues. What they did was the contract that they did for the employees, for their union members, that they agreed to with Albertsons, the agreement with the union and Albertsons as a corporation pretty much fucked over long-term employees of the company, their union members. It fucked them. It stabbed them in the back, because what it did was they had, at the time, there was a tier method, a tier of seniority and pay. Okay, so they had a tier system.
X
and
amount
if you
of
got
years,
a
you got paid X amount this.
Yeah, exactly. What they did is they changed the tier system. They took a tier out, and they put in some stipulations where it made it harder for you to get to that next fucking tier.
Okay.
Yeah. So the
current people who were there for several years, whatever the time frame was, if they were above a certain time frame, they were good. But if they were below slightly, they were screwed.
Right.
Pissed a lot of the union members off, because that's not what they wanted.
No.
But the union is the one that actually did that contract and did it that way with Albertsons. And of course, the company is always going to try to get the lowest that they can get away with. But the company, any company knows this. If any company that's worth a shit, especially in the service industry, knows that if your employees can be happy, they're going to work harder for you.
Right.
If you fuck them over, they couldn't give two shits about you. Been there, done that.
Okay.
So,
I can't
and so they ended up doing that. But union is political. Yeah.
I mean, I can't remember if I shared this, but when my friend and I were working for Monarch Security, we were getting paid £4.80, and that was that was above the minimum wage at the time. And when the minimum wage went up to £4.85, we naively thought that that's nice. They'll pay us more money because we were getting more than the minimum wage before, but we didn't. We just got the minimum wage, so we went up by about 5 pence. So that pissed us off. So at that point, we were just like, well, if it's minimum wage, it's minimum effort. That's how.
Right.
I don't think we had a union, obviously, but it's just reminded me of that when we were talking about that.
And another part of politics too is just like with you're talking about wages and minimum wage, and I can cite this example because I saw the effects of it here in this state of Arizona. So I think it was in 2000 when the hell was it? 2014. They'd voted on the state that they passed there was a ballot measure to increase the minimum wage over time
Mhm.
here in the state minimum wage, and it passed. And it was gonna, I think it was gonna knock it. I think the minimum wage at the time when I started working for my former employer, and I worked for them for over 7 years. The minimum wage in Arizona was right around $8.25 an hour, roughly.
Right.
Now, the idea was they were going to make this minimum wage. They were going to bump this minimum wage up to, I think it was $12 or $13 an hour over 5 years. Okay, so yeah, 5 extra bucks an hour over a number of years, and then it would stop.
But how many hours are you working a week at that?
So I can tell you that right after the first pay, they had to adjust everybody's wage. So everybody who was working minimum wage or slightly over minimum wage, if they were under that first bump, they all got bumped up to that. Okay. Yeah. So, and what was happening was I started seeing firsthand, and I'd worked for a lot of retail corporations in management positions. So I saw a lot of the bullshit that corporations do. So in order for them to make any money, corporations have to leverage their, what they call, their expenses, their controllables, they call them.
Okay.
Wages are what they call controllables because, especially if you're working in an industry where you have hourly wages, so you have full-time, part-time people. Well, I started seeing this over time, where in my particular store had X amount of full-time people and X amount of part-time people.
Mm-hmm.
Shortly after these adjustments to minimum wage started going into effect, I started noticing that the company was cutting back on hours.
Yeah.
So they would reduce the number of hours per week allocated to run your facility. Then they started changing procedural things where you had to have X amount of people closing the store. Yeah. And they changed cash handling, like cash reconciliation at night. They changed it where it had to be from 2 people to 1, putting the register, the tills away. So that automatically reduced 1 employee per night, every night. They started changing shift, how the shifts were constructed to where that you wouldn't have any crossover of employees.
Right.
So that would mean shorter shifts for the part-timers. To a point to where when I started, we had about 4 people a night closing, 4 employees closing. You'd have a manager and 3 others, usually a manager, a cashier, a floor person, and someone in the framing department. So you'd have 4 people.
Right.
That got reduced down to now I think it's 2. To this day, now it's 2 people. So the responsibilities have not changed, to my knowledge. No. And I haven't been with that company for 3 years now. But the responsibilities have not changed.
No.
Only the procedures have changed to reduce the hours and manpower hours. I remember this very clear. During the holidays, during Christmas, we would have hiring seminars starting at about this time of the year for Christmas and stuff like that. So you could get people in and start training them on register and things like that. We used to hire probably for season. We probably used to hire about 10 to 15 bodies, combination for, truck overload, loading, unloading unloading the shipments, and then people on the floor putting them away. So you have probably, 10 to 15 people we would hire every year just for seasonal. One year, I think it was about 3 years before I left, they only hired 2 people for seasonal work. 2 people for seasonal work. It wasn't like anybody was not looking for work. A lot of people looking for work, but they only had positions for 2 people. So you go from hiring an average of seasonal, and he's only going to work for 2 months. I mean, holy shit! Right after fucking New Year's, you're done. You're gone. So, yeah. So like 2 months, they would have you in there for 60 days, whatever, as a temporary employee. Seasonal temporary. Yeah, they went from 10 to 15 to 2.
Well, that's another thing as well, apparently, that happens when, like the minimum wage goes up, the cost of everything goes up as well.
Yes.
So
Oh, yeah.
you're not really that much better off.
The way the companies try to do this, at least in retail, at least big box retail or large corporate retail, national chains, they try to leverage the payroll if they can first before jacking the price up. But if there's no other way to do it, they're going to jack the price up. They're still going to screw the employees, but then they'll jack the price up. And I will tell you right now, from the business that I'm in now, the company that I work for, and the things that I do, I travel to a lot of grocery stores, and for my job. And I will tell you that thanks to this current administration, people are paying $3 and $4 more for a bag of fucking rice.
Yeah.
That's bullshit. A 20 fucking pound bag of rice is $4 more than it was
administration.
before. Yes, that administration right there on your screen. And the year before, actually before the pandemic, it was $4 cheaper.
Right.
And people got screwed in the pandemic and stuff like that. But things were starting to come back to quote unquote normal. I don't like to use the word back to normal or the phrase back to normal. It should be back to freedom, not normal. In the Communist Manifesto, they have a thing calling, normalization.
Right.
Normalization, that's pretty much when you pretty much have destroyed all opposition. That's called normalization. And so I don't like using the term back to normal. It's back to freedom. So, but nevertheless, I've seen rice go up in 3 years to $4 more than it was. A 20-pound bag of rice. I've seen holy shit. The 99-cent store ain't 99 cents anymore.
No.
It's like $1.50. It's a $1.50 store.
Did they change the name?
No, not yet. The Dollar Tree is now the $5 tree. But no, you have this economic downturn, and a lot of companies have pretty much reached their end. They can't do their job. They can't do their job without having a physical person there. But in walks the register companies with these self-checkouts.
Yes.
And now you have self-checkouts are proliferating through every freaking retail industry.
Mm-hmm.
They're in your drugstores. They're in Walmart. Probably in Tesco's too over there for you guys.
Probably.
There you
go. Pay with your phone.
Yeah, pay with your phone.
Yeah.
I mean, holy shit. There's what was it, Abby? There's that store that didn't have any cashiers.
It was
not Sprouts. It was
Amazon store.
Whole Foods.
It was a Whole Foods.
Oh yeah.
They were affiliated with Amazon somehow.
What was that store that was by you? We go to her once in a while. It's like a Whole Food, a combination of Sprouts and Whole Foods. It was one of those health food type stores.
Trader Joe's?
Not Trader Joe's. We've been in there together once or twice, but I can't remember if it was. I don't think it was a Sprouts, but we had gone in there back in the day.
There was.
It was over there where you live.
It's now a Sprouts. It used to be a Henry's.
Maybe that's what it was, but they didn't have
Sprouts.
They didn't have any fucking cashiers. They had one guy up there running like a bank of freaking cash registers.
Yeah.
You remember that shit? And that was a long time ago. But see, now they're doing this now. Like there's one company, there's one place that I go into to set up some displays for. That's once a quarter.
Right.
It's a retail store. It's not necessarily a supermarket. It's a retail store. When I first went in there, they had 3 or 4 registers, and then they had about 2 or 3 fucking self-checks. I went in there last month, same fucking place. They had redesigned the front end, no regular cash registers, except for one near the customer service counter.
All right.
Okay, but everything, they had one bank or a big bank of nothing but self checks.
Yeah.
And then
yeah.
one poor slob at the front negotiating traffic. Oh yeah, this one's open, this one's open.
Yeah, our local Asda, I think there's only 2 checkouts up there now, and there's nothing but self checkouts, and you've got the customer service or cigarette counter, that's got a till on it. But they've done away a lot of the checkouts. Yeah.
Right, and I'm seeing this now with companies where I'm not going to mention the retail chain. It's a grocery store chain, but one of the locations I service to, one of the locations has 18 self checks. 18 self checks. It's nuts. And they have 5 register register lanes, 5 regular register lanes, and 18 freaking self checks. 2 of the self checks are belts. They have belts on them, so you have if someone comes in and they have a cart of food or whatever they bought, and it's just a conveyor belt that goes at the end. And there's one dude on one side, and he's running this operation. And there's another guy on the other side other side of the store running that operation. So they're running 18 registers basically with 2 guys or 2 people, 2 bodies. And they might have 1 or 2 regular registers going at the same time. But so you have people here locally, especially snowbirds that come down, all the retirees, they protest that shit. So they go to the regular registers, and God bless them. I wouldn't want to fucking start ringing up my shit either. The only thing is it is convenient if you're going in to get onesie twosies things. Like I got to go grab a bag of potatoes and a something. Yeah, okay. I'll run through the self check, scan it, whatever. Stick your money in or slide your card. Get your receipt, and you're on your way.
Right. But if you've got a big trolley full of shopping, it's just like no.
Yeah. I have been in grocery stores that never had their register lanes open except just the self-serve, just those registers, and holy shit, there'd be people literally with a big old cart of like probably 30 freaking items, standing there, scanning, bagging, scanning bag, scan bag, and yeah, and it's nuts. But the companies, that's how they're getting around, being able to have just the bare minimum of employees, human bodies in there running the place. I mean, holy shit, the same company that's got 18 freaking registers, 18 self-checks, and 5 regular registers, they have an autonomous freaking floor cleaning machine. It's one that actually, you sit on it, there's a chair, there's a steering wheel, just like a freaking Zamboni, right? And that's what it is. It's a big Zamboni. They got a squeegee in the front, and it sprays shit, and it's got a little thing on the bottom underneath, and it's like cleaning the floors, right? And it dries them as it passes through. Well, this thing can either be run physically or remotely. And so this thing is running around the store. It's kind of creepy. It's big. It's not a small thing. It's big. But yeah. People, this thing is creepy, but it goes around the store.
Maximum override.
Yeah, exactly.
I was going to say.
Maximum. Yes. Maximum. Yeah, exactly. The machines, they came self-aware.
I know.
Well, not
but
me,
they have this freaking thing, and it can tell if it's coming to, like, if a human's coming in front of it, they'll stop, and if they have a robot floor cleaner, what are the Mexicans gonna do?
How racist of you, Time Prophet.
I know. How dare you? How dare you? The Mexicans are going to be the ones fixing the damn thing.
Until they invent another robot to fix the other robot.
Yes, exactly.
Oh yeah.
But so this thing flies around the
Machines
store.
building
So
machines.
that right there,
That
takes
can't be
the
good.
job away. Well, what that does is that cuts down the number of frickin' janitors they have to have on staff.
Well,
Yeah.
Because they're open 7 days a week, and these stores are open 12 to 15 hours a freaking day. So, they're having this freaking machine run around, 6 out of 7 freaking days, just so they can save money on hiring a janitor go to actually sit on the machine and drive it around the store. It's nuts to see this shit, but you're going to see more and more of it. It's just going to get worse.
Yeah.
Right.
It really is. I mean, there was one store, I forgot who was trying this thing where, you just go in and fill your fucking bag, and
Oh yeah.
everything has been RFID'd, and they scan your freaking like credit card or whatever. It's like a scan. You just scan your credit card because they already know what you got in your freaking bag or whatever it's in your cart, because everything in your cart's RFID'd, so they know how much it is. You just like wave your card over the thing and walk out.
right.
There
was a video of a guy who was in one of these
That's
autonomous
government
stores and stuff, and he had got like a bag of strawberries or something like that, whatever.
Yep.
And he put down the change on the counter. Goes, "I've paid for my food. You're not getting me with this automated thing. You're going to track everybody. You're not doing this. I'm paying for it in currency." And he tried walking out, and they're trying to stop him.
Oh, wasn't it the lady? Wasn't
It
it
was the
the
guy.
old lady in England?
It was
Remember
the guy.
that? Was this here in the States or was this over there, overseas?
I think it was over there.
Because there was a guy, or
the
pardon me, a
aisles.
lady. I thought it was an older lady, elderly
older
lady.
man.
She said, "Here's my legal tender. You have
Yes.
to take this money," and they refused because they weren't taking cash or some bullshit,
Right.
cashless bullshit. Yeah. Oh, she was pissed, and they did try to stop her, but she said, "Look, call the cops. My money's sitting right there. It's legal tender. You have to take it."
Yeah, I mean, I know that businesses can select how the method of payment takes place, but having said that, cash is still legal. It's not been
Yes.
outlawed, so
Right. Oh, but they want it to be outlawed.
oh yeah, they
With
want
this
to.
bullshit, with this bullshit
Well-
electronic currency shit, these digital
Yeah.
dollars, they call them over
Well,
here.
think about this.
All right.
It's all
kind of-
control.
they've kind of, going back to this, the Overton window, kind of shifting towards this cashless society over the years. We all carry ATM cards and debit cards now,
Yeah, I've got a
and
debit
we go
card.
to pay for things. What happens? What comes out? The debit card comes out, and we slash it, and guess what? That we get charged.
Yeah, exactly. I went
Hardly anybody
into
carries cash anymore.
I went into a Walmart last week, bought a bag of cat food with a $20 bill, went through the self-check, okay? But get this, go through the self-check, and the first one I got to, it didn't take cash because they have ones that say, don't take it didn't take cash. So
Yeah.
I waited, went to
Card
the other
only.
one, and the attendant who was in charge of that bank of freaking, self-checks, she said, "Oh, you got to do this one because this one doesn't take cash." So I'm going, okay. So I go to the one that she says takes cash, right? It took cash. It gave me the change back, but it didn't give me the coins.
Oh.
It owed me 68 cents. So she had to walk me over. It didn't have any coins in the motherfucker. That blew me away. Okay, it was 68 cents. So they gave me the $2 bills, the two $1 bills as change, because it was like $17 and
Whatever.
30 something cents was the total. So I owe $2.68 or whatever it was. It was 68 cents is what they owed me. So first I go up there, and lady's got her copy of the receipt. She gives it to the attendant at the customer service counter. They take the freaking receipt that their copy. They go into the change office, the cash room. Go in there to get me 68 cents. The person comes out, hands me the change. I took it, stuck it in my pocket, turned around and was walking out, and I stopped and I said, "That wasn't 68 cents." Pulled the change back out of my pocket, and it was 9 cents. So I go back to the counter with my copy of the receipt, and I said, "Hey, this doesn't look like 68 cents, does it to you? I mean, it's on my receipt. It's 68 cents that you owe me." So I gave her the change back. She went back in, got me 68 cents. Nobody can fucking count money.
No, we can't count change back.
No one can count fucking money. No one has the common sense and fucking wherewithal because they haven't been taught to count fucking money.
We had to learn that in grade school.
Fuck yeah. My first freaking job was using a manual freaking cash register, which didn't give you the change back amount. You had to figure it out yourself. So that's how you learn, is fucking doing the shit. You just mathematics in your head, dollars and cents or pounds and pence and whatever it might be. But actually, the art of counting money and knowing exchanges and stuff like that, what's what, the denominations, is a big part of, what they're not teaching kids now because they don't want you to touch money.
Right.
No.
But these fucking people don't even know what they're looking at. Oh, it's 68 cents. Oh, that's 1 nickel and 4 pennies. What? You fucking stupid?
Right.
Anyway. But yeah, and that's part of government. Thank you, government-funded education.
Yeah.
Now they're teaching them. They won't teach them how to read, write, or spell, or fucking do math, but they'll definitely teach them that there's 85 fucking different genders, and that we can give you all these fucking drugs and don't tell your parents.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Wait, whoa. You mean there's not 85 genders?
No. Shh. Don't tell them, but actual science says there's 2.
Very, very quiet.
Real science says there's 2.
There's real science?
Yes.
We on the science?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is it like dry land? A myth?
Yeah, could be. Could be. Politics has gotten into everything. Political agendas, ideologies. I mean, you see that with what's going on. Let's just case in point.
Companies.
Pharmaceutical companies. Yeah, it's funny. I saw this.
Entertainment as well.
I saw this freaking Joe Biden commercial on YouTube this morning.
Oh, wow.
I'm screaming at the freaking TV, right? I'm watching YouTube on my TV, and it comes on, so it's a Joe Biden ad. He's done more for the economy. Blah, 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 blah. Unemployment is blah, 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 blah. And he's beat the drug companies, the big pharmaceuticals. And I'm like, fuck you.
Beat them with what?
The pharmaceutical industry has gotten richer because of Joe Biden being in office than at any other fucking time.
Yes.
Thank you, scamdemic, and these clot shots.
Because remember, when the vaccine first came out, they said they weren't going to take it. They said we haven't had long enough to study this.
All of them.
No one wasn't going to take it.
All of them.
How do we?
We're not going to take a Trump vaccine.
And as soon as they took office, everybody had to take it.
That's because when they came out, it was still Orange Man.
Orange Man bad.
Right.
Orange Man bad.
You mean
Orange Man's bad?
You mean
right.
This guy.
Because what he wanted to do. Hey, you know what? I like just File said earlier in this broadcast. Trump did some things I didn't agree with.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Here's the thing. Trump was a business guy who does listen to certain people and does take advice and bases his decision on information he's given.
Well, and that's
so
the thing
if
too.
he thought that the vaccines
they're not giving him all the information.
Exactly. That's exactly right. Exactly right.
They're not giving
they
information.
Withheld information.
And a lot of these guys, that he got into his cabinet or got into his brain trust shouldn't have been there in the first place because they were just sitting. They were sucking up to him, but they weren't helping him.
Right. He retained some people from the previous administration,
and he should
thinking that he retained some people from the previous administration, believing that like in business, that if they're going to do they're going to do a good job, and he might win them over, and da da da. No, their whole fucking plan from the start of him keeping some of these people would undermine him every fucking minute of every fucking day he was in office.
Right.
Yes.
And Fauci, all these people from the NHS, all these motherfucking the CDC, the FDA, the fucking FBI, the USDA, the freaking CIA, all these freaking alphabet agencies in our government,
That's what it say.
all had people in it that made efforts to fuck him over at every fucking step of the way. I can tell you this: he learned his fucking lesson, and when and if he gets fucking elected, it's going to be scorched earth on these motherfuckers.
Yeah.
And I'll be happy as hell to watch the fucking carnage.
Look, the FBI director when he took office was James Comey, right? And they had that investigation with Hillary Clinton, and they found evidence that she had broken the law.
Oh yeah.
But they decided not to prosecute her.
Yeah,
But it's
exactly.
okay when she does it, though, isn't it? It's all right when she does it.
Yeah.
She's destroyed 30,000 emails, destroyed company property, memory cards, and all this other shit. Wiped servers clean and shit from their memories.
Let's not forget about the body count.
Yeah, not forget about that. But again, politics and the greedy envy of power to control other people.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Kennedy got it worse.
Yeah.
Yep.
He did.
Yep, I would say so.
Yep. The thing is, though, with politics in these organizations, you have organizations like school boards and shit. We're seeing this here local. I'm seeing this shit on the local level, as where they're doing this bullshit ideology. These school boards are it's not a policy. It's they just propose guidance where boys can use fucking chicks' restrooms and lockers and all this other bullshit. They're trying to manipulate the Title IX, here in the United States, the Title IX, which is a federal program, to basically make sports and extracurricular activity equal insofar as participation between men and women, girls and boys. And what that did was that elevated, it made more girl sports available to girls. But what they're trying to do, these ideologues that are in these positions of school boards and administrators, they're trying to manipulate this law, Title IX, into something that's not. And so now you're having issues here. We're having issues here in my town with the local school board, and people are getting pissed off. Parents, students are scared because they can't say anything, because then they're going to be fucking reprimanded and called a bigot or some bullshit, because one boy wants to go take a dump in the chick's restroom. Okay.
Yeah.
Or he wants to use the chick's locker room when they're in PE class, physical ed, or whatever.
I wonder why.
Okay? Yeah.
The students are scared to say anything because administration is gung-ho about this shit. And anytime you have, it doesn't matter what it is, whoever's in charge is going to pretty much coerce you to just go along with it.
Right.
Just go along with it. Keep your mouth shut. Look the other way and just go along with it. Okay?
Yeah.
We have that all over the fucking in this country. Oh, just go along with it. We gotta get along, so just go along with it.
Right.
Instead of pointing out, oh, that's a crime, motherfucker. I'm not gonna go along with that shit just to get along. That's illegal. Or there's a crime going on, or there's something there that's not right.
I mean,
and they're told to just go along with it.
Yeah.
Well, or you're a bigot or an ist or a
if it was a crime and you if it was a crime and you go along with it, then that makes you complicit.
You can ask File 13 about the old go along to get along thing in government. I'm sure he might have some stories and situations or things he's heard. I have heard things from other people who have been working in various aspects of government both local, state, and federal. And yeah, the go along to get along is the problem that we fucking have
Right.
right now. That's why everything in Washington D.C. is fucked up as hard as it is right now, because all these bullshit milquetoast Republicans go along so they can get along with. They look the other fucking way, or some lobbyist or somebody gets into their pocket, throws a little scratch in their pocket, or gives them some stock tips, which are completely fucking. You and me do that insider trading shit. Hey, so and so. Hey, Abby, so and so's got a great deal going on. Hey, put your money in now because tomorrow they're gonna fucking, whatever. Okay, they do that shit every fucking day in Washington D.C. Right. That's why these bastards are freaking millionaires. They come from nothing. They go in one term and they're fucking like what, 7-digit freaking bank account already.
Well, then they get to vote on policies that's going to enhance their
exactly
their riches, whatever it may be.
They have voted over time. They have voted themselves in immunity and exemptions, and exemptions all the time. From Obamacare, they were exempt. They had immunity from having to go through Obamacare.
Right.
They had immunity from that shit. Everybody else got fucked over, and still hasn't fucking recovered now. That was one of the good things that fucking Trump did when he came in office. One of the first executive orders was like, yeah, fuck this fucking tax, the tax bullshit if you don't have freaking qualifying medical insurance. Because guess what? If you didn't have qualifying medical insurance, that was like the whatever that they claimed as qualifying medical insurance under the ACA, Affordable Care Act, which is a fucking oxymoron anyway.
It's a joke. It's a joke.
You got a tax penalty. You got penalized.
It's a joke.
A shit ton of money on your taxes if you didn't have qualifying fucking insurance. And it was hitting people hard because if you've got a family of 3 or 4 and you're going to get jammed on your taxes because you don't have qualifying medical insurance. People had medical insurance, but it wasn't qualifying medical insurance that the government says you have to have as minimums. Well, one of the first things Trump did was he 86 that fucking rule.
Yeah.
He 86 it immediately. And that was a freaking godsend to a lot of people because we got nailed with that the first year it was implemented before Trump took office. And I'll tell you right now, that was the biggest bullshit, and then you have to fill out your insurance forms. You have to fill out insurance information on your tax forms.
Right.
Well, I mean,
bullshit.
coming from a business background, Trump, I think, as a result, understood the little people a little bit better and what they needed.
Yep, Papa Cotton is right on that.
Right.
He is a fun fact. Yep, they sure as a shit are. All this leniency and people are getting released and stuff like that throughout the states. That's another thing. All your blue states are releasing criminals and shit all over the place to wreak havoc on your ass. And you ain't a shit thing you can do. But like over there in England and in Europe, the fucking criminals that are coming over there, these migrants, these refugees, these military-aged men
asylum
with
seekers.
with no family members with them, no females, no kids, no elderly. Yet they're coming over and they're wreaking all kinds of freaking havoc. And yet the authorities look the other fucking way. We can't do that. But if you, the citizens, say, hey, that's bullshit, aren't you going to do something? You get crucified by the cops. They come and knock on your door and say, hey, you told us that these guys, you said something bad about the migrant guy. We got to take you downtown and ream your asshole. Exactly. Exactly. Because an autistic girl said that a female cop looked like she was lesbian. They hauled her ass down fucking town for that.
Fucking bullshit.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No,
that's
happened.
the state. That's the state. That shit happened there in England.
Mm-hmm.
That's dude.
That police officer's face was all over the internet for a good couple of weeks.
fucking put her ass on blast, make her ass famous.
What?
You know, it goes. Back in the day,
What the?
when cops, now, no, just let's be out here. When some cops, majority of the cops actually had some respectability and maybe they were a little bit decent and had some ethics.
Yeah.
Some of them, not all, some.
No, some.
That shit would have never fucking happened.
Oh no.
They probably would have fucking laughed it off. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, okay, the kid's autistic or whatever, blah, blah. But now, because there's thought fucking crimes, especially, and they're test betting it in your hometown, I'm sure. I mean, fucking look at Count Dankula over there. Holy shit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what it was like in the likes of the 50s, 60s, 70s, and onwards for police recruitment in the United States. But we used to recruit people with military backgrounds, basically, into the police departments.
Yeah.
Because they had discipline, they had common sense, they were respectable.
Yes.
And, they knew when to kick off and when not to. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And you had, exactly. And the same thing here, and they still do. They hire, at least here in the States, if you have a military background or something, you tend to get first dibs if you want to go into law enforcement.
Oh, it's different now.
But again,
it's different now, you know.
I'm sure it is.
You've got to have
but I will tell you, the training that the cops get here is not the training they used to get 50 years ago.
Oh,
it's not the fucking same training. They're much more paramilitaristic, much more definitely shoot first and don't ask questions later. Let's oppress everybody we can. Like I said before at the beginning of this, to protect and serve, that's splashed on every freaking sheriff's deputy vehicle, every cop car in the nation, in my nation. To protect and serve doesn't apply to citizens.
No.
It applies to the government. They protect and they serve the government, and they protect and serve their fucking benefits and retirement plan and their fucking paychecks. So if they're told to go and fuck with somebody, they're going to do it. Mm-hmm. Now, there might be a handful of guys on the force, guys and gals, that'll say, no, that's bullshit. I ain't going to do that. But
well, I got a friend,
look at the shit look at the shit that happened during the fucking lockdowns in recent history, what law enforcement did to fucking people in just my country alone, not to mention Australia and England, everything else.
I have a friend that Wookie knows, who is the California Highway Patrol officer in Northern California, and he has to deal with this shit all the time. He can't wait to get out to retire. He's got, he's going to retire in a couple more years. He's going to retire early because of this crap.
I don't blame him. Yeah.
Because he said he had to go down to the Capitol because he's one of these guys that has to get into the uniform and stuff like that to protect when they're having those protests and stuff. And it wasn't like Antifa and BLM showing up. It was people waving American flags and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Tired of the bullshit.
Yeah. Can't have that.
And he was ordered to go there to try to create a human barricade around the Capitol building. And he
show of force.
He had no say so. He had to go.
Yeah. Show of force. Just show of force.
And that's the thing as well, isn't it? It's a case of.
Let me ask you this, Abby. Do you think if it was a Antifa or a BLM bullshit that they would have had him go there?
No.
Me neither.
No.
Well,
no. It was a show of force.
They'd had a minimal. They'd had a minimal crew there, just to, for window dressing and stuff like that. Just but it would have been an all-out brawl between the Patriots and the Antifa types.
But the reason why him and all his co-workers were there was based on political reasons.
Yeah,
it was a show of force.
I was going to say that, because he's an active police officer as well, that means that he has to go along with all this. That means he has to have everybody else's back, even if he disagrees. Otherwise, he's on his own.
Right.
Exactly.
Where he patrols, he's in a very rural area. He's up near the Oregon border, so it's a lot of, you're on your own.
Well,
most of the
yeah,
time.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
If he
because
goes
it's so
against
spread out.
if he goes
'Cause-
against everybody else there, then he's on his own. They're not going to back him up if he
Yeah.
needs help.
Exactly.
Right.
So
Exactly.
Yeah.
yeah,
So he has more room for discretion up there because
Mm.
he's not in a like a major metropolitan area where
No.
there's a bazillion fucking
No.
whatever. He's up there in a
Cameras
situation
and-
where
yeah.
he probably knows some of these people by first names anyway
I mean,
because
the
it's
only-
a rural area,
yeah.
you know. So, but
He
that's the
probably
thing.
should get out. Yeah.
The police and sheriff's deputies and whatever oftentimes don't have room for discretion, or
Mm.
they do, but they're ideologues, so they don't. You know? And so, yeah, it's like, well, like I was watching the video that File posted to Facebook. I don't know if you guys have
Oh.
seen it. It was the one where the 2 police officers were involved in an arrest, and they were doing a deposition of the 2 cops. And they were showing the video that the quote unquote detainee or the plaintiff in the case had video of these 2 officers, and the person wasn't doing anything really. They're just outside walking around on the sidewalk and filming the freaking building. For whatever reason, they were filming the building. You know, they probably had somebody with them. Who knows? Anyway, they approached her, asked her for her ID. She said that she didn't have to give them an ID. I wasn't doing anything wrong. She quoted the 4th Amendment. She quoted something else. Fucking other laws. And they didn't give a fuck. They just in the words of one officer, she was handcuffed for officer safety. She didn't do anything wrong. What the fuck did she do? Was she throwing shit around? Was she carrying a knife, waving it around, screaming and yelling? No, just holding a fucking cell phone, taking a picture of a building. Okay, whatever. Maybe she liked the architecture. I have no freaking idea. You know, I mean,
yeah,
maybe she was waiting for somebody that was in the freaking building. It was a courthouse and waiting for somebody outside the courthouse. Who knows? You know, don't know. But she wasn't doing anything that was construed as criminal, but it was unusual.
right.
And they have to go and they have to oppress the fuck. No, I like how this guy says they have to protect and serve the shit out of you.
Mhm.
I was going to wait to say, was she in public?
Oh yeah, she was on the fucking sidewalk.
Right.
She was on the sidewalk.
It wasn't
technically
it wasn't
public. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't on the building's property or anything like that.
It was probably the sidewalk was probably adjacent to or part of the property,
but it wasn't
still.
part of the. It wasn't part
But
of
it
the
wasn't.
private.
You were just on the sidewalk, on the walking around just like any other pedestrian.
Right.
The only thing was that she was holding her cell phone and either taking a video or taking pictures of the building. Maybe she was waiting for somebody. I don't know. But all I do know is the mentality of both of those police officers. Not because they were talking. They had a deposition, and so the video mostly was the deposition of these 2 officers.
I don't think I saw that.
Being deposed by the defense attorney.
Right.
But what's telling is what's in the freaking video she had taken of them at the time shit was going on.
It's funny how the body cam footage and personal footage is often different, isn't it?
Well, sometimes they turn it off.
Mm.
You know, usually they'll turn it off because they're doing something they know they don't want to fucking have people see.
Yeah.
So, and even though I think, if I'm not mistaken, in most jurisdictions, that's a violation of policy to turn your freaking shit off. If you have a body camera, you know, you're supposed to keep it on at all times.
Yeah,
because you know it's there to protect the police. It's there to protect the officer's safety.
Yeah.
Then why would you turn it off?
Yeah.
Right.
Right. So anyway, but yeah, so the mindset of most, not all, most law enforcement is, I'm in charge. You're a peon. You're a peasant. Your rights and feelings don't matter to me. Your rights don't matter to me. You know, you're going to do what I tell you to do, even if what I'm telling you to do is an illegal order. It's an unlawful order. I'm going to fuck with you. I'm going to pepper spray you. I'm going to beat the shit out of you. I'm going to wrestle you to the ground. I'm going to slam you to the ground. and then I'm going to handcuff you and I'm going to drag your ass and throw you in the back of a freaking cop car. Okay, that's their freaking mentality. They have these godlike mentalities, and they hire that shit. You can't tell me they don't. They look for these motherfuckers that have a little bit of an ego. They're a little messed up in the head, and they want to bring these guys on law enforcement to treat the citizenry like shit.
Oh, of course.
Of course, the fantastic thing is with these kind of things these days is there's a lot of people out there that are actually becoming more knowledgeable about the law.
Right.
So bye see it in court. And there have been officers sued as a result.
Yeah.
Yeah, Papa Cotton, yeah, I do agree with you on that. But on the flip side of that, as far as your rights as a U.S. citizen, if you're not doing anything wrong, they're not allowed to do that. If they're detaining you because they suspect that you've done something, like you're in the same place where a burglary happened or something like that, or you're doing something stupid like walking around with a knife open in the freaking street, then once they take you into custody, they'll get your ID.
Yeah.
Or if you're detained,
if they had probable cause, that's different.
That's the ID, probable cause. Just because you're standing there doesn't account for probable cause. You have to have done something for them to have probable cause to talk to you or to interrogate you. And that's why, on these, like with traffic stops. Now, with traffic stops, it's the same way. There's a maximum amount of time that is allowed. This has been ruled in by the government, by the courts. There's a maximum amount of time that it should take for an officer to run your license, plates, whatever they need to do, and come back and either write you a ticket or tell you to have a nice day. Okay?
Right.
If it goes beyond that by the specific time, then you have every right to ask if I'm being detained. If they come back and they're giving you some bullshit story, are you being detained? And if they say yes, then you keep your mouth shut and just notate in your mind what the fuck's going on.
Right.
And, but again, discretion's a better part of valor, but here again, it's how much are you willing to give up your freedoms and your rights to just comply?
Well,
you did not comply with my quote unquote lawful request, which is actually more than likely unlawful. But yeah, it is what it is.
Well,
Just had a similar experience. I was, yeah. Hang on a second, Drew. I got to read this. Cam in the chat says that I just had a similar experience. I was taking a walk through a suburban office park after a chiro appointment. Yeah, chiro appointment. These guys with guns and vests came out of the building. That was, So yeah, just walking along, mind your own business. They didn't see you do anything, but they're going to come and roust you. Yeah.
I don't know how it is with you guys over there, but there is this idea that we are governed over here anyway. We are governed by consent and kind of policed by consent as well, unless there's like probable cause and warrants and that kind of thing.
Right.
So
I can agree with you on that, Papa Cotton, to a certain extent, but it also depends on the situation. Now I wouldn't go so far as to be belligerent with the police officer, but I would definitely ask him his reason for detaining me if he's going to detain you. Okay. But now if he's going to detain you and you're going to refuse to give them ID, then, okay. But if he didn't detain you, but he's asking you for ID and doesn't say you're being detained and then says, well, it's a failure to identify, I'm going to arrest you. That's bullshit.
yeah.
Failure to identify is not an excuse to arrest somebody. That's bullshit. If the cop's going to come up and say, hey, look, I saw you come out of that building. We had a robbery over there, blah, 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 blah. Okay, yeah, sure. My name's so-and-so. Here's my ID. Okay, he's looking for somebody. He's going to explain it. But if they just come up to you and you're out in the middle of the fucking park sitting on a park bench feeding pigeons or some shit, and they come over to roust you and start giving you a hard time, you know, holy shit. Like there was a fucking incident where they used the situation where a failure to identify, they beat up a fucking veteran, security guards did, in a freaking vet hospital in line getting in. Okay, they beat the shit out of an old guy who was there for a medical procedure, and for whatever reason, the head security guard had an issue with this old guy. He'd already put his wallet, keys, other belongings in the tray. Okay, and the guy, first thing he does is, I need your identification.
Yeah.
The first thing he fucking does,
Nope.
he asks for that. And then the old guy's like, well, yeah, it's right here. Let me get it for you. And he wouldn't let him get it. Wouldn't let him get ID. And so the guy starts advancing on the old guy, and the old guy starts backing up. You know, he's got his fucking cane, and he's like limping and shit. And they push him through the freaking metal detector, and the guy come up behind him, slammed him on the fucking ground. This is an old guy, an old veteran, probably a Korean War veteran or Vietnam vet. Okay. They beat the living shit out of him. Why? Because the security guard had a fucking attitude. That bullshit right there. Now, I think the guy got sued. I think the whole operation got sued. But, you know, there's things like that when they use the I need your ID as an excuse to beat the shit out of you and treat you like shit.
Right.
I don't go for that.
No.
You know, and yeah, they may have been security guards, but they do have some sort of immunity sometimes too, because they're probably hired by the feds, because the VA hospitals are Fed run. So shit, they might have even been feds. But yeah, I'm sorry about getting a little hot on that, but that's bullshit that, you know, they used the excuse for ID as a reason to basically abuse you, abuse the populace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, they abuse you. That's bullshit. Now,
Now,
of course, you know, you want to be polite and everything else in interactions with cops. You don't want to say something stupid like, you can't arrest me, blah, blah, blah. You know, yeah, just, you know, yeah. Have a cool head. Be cool, especially on a freaking, you know, a stop. Like they pull you over for you're going a little too fast or some shit. Okay, fine. Here's my ID, insurance, registration, you know, blah, blah, blah. I got pulled over in California late last year. I got pulled over in California late last year, and the police officer pulled me over and in a parking lot. You know, he followed me down the road, and when I pulled in and he turned his bubble gums on, followed me in the parking lot, it's fine. So I pulled into an area that was fairly open in the parking lot. There's no cars in it. So it was a major retailer. And I pulled in, and he came over to the car, and I motioned to him because my driver's window it's broken. So it's in the up position. I couldn't roll it down. So I told him it was broken and motioned to him that it's broken, and he could hear me. And I opened it. And as I opened it, he grabbed the door and he opened it slowly and had my hands had my hands on the steering wheel. You need to be smart. Okay? I keep my hands on the steering wheel when I get pulled over, if I get pulled over. And so I did there, and he just said, hey, you know, I noticed you're driving a little erratic back there. I said, yeah, unfortunately. And at the time, I had some I had a big diesel truck drive by with hydraulics, leaking hydraulic fluid, so the fluid splashed on my windshield. So I had a hard time seeing. So that's why he pulled me over, because I was varying my speed because I couldn't freaking see, trying to get where I was going. He pulled me over, and it was a good interaction. He took my driver's license. He did not ask for my insurance. He did not ask for the registration. Took my ID. So obviously, the vehicle I was driving was probably similar to one that they were looking for.
Right.
And so, because I could hear him when he was talking to, I had the door still open because the window wouldn't go down. So he was talking to dispatch, and he called me the suspect. And he read off all the information from my driver's license, ran it, came back okay. He handed me the driver's license back and said, thank you very much, said my name and whatever. And he says, this next time, make sure that your speed is, whatever. And I said, yeah, I've got all this stuff on the windshield. I'm going to wash it off right now. And he says, okay, well, have a good day. And he took off. Okay. He was gone.
Yeah.
And yeah, they were looking for somebody. He pulled me over. If it had been a normal traffic stop, he probably would have asked for the registration and the insurance. Because I asked him when he asked for my license, I handed it to him. I said, "Do you want my insurance card and registration?" He says, "No, that's not necessary." I'm like, "Okay, cool. It's good. You're good. It's all good. You don't need it. That's fine by me."
Which is funny because if you hand them your state license, that information comes up when they run your license number.
Yeah. That's
they
what
don't
he
really
did.
Need your physical registration and
yeah, the way
insurance.
everything's interconnected now. Mostly, your insurance and your driver's license.
Welcome to Big Brother.
And the registration. Yeah, welcome to Big Brother. Welcome to Big Brother. Now, when they're looking for somebody, of course they're going to ask questions. They're going to ask questions, but not a lot of times they're not looking for anybody in particular. They're just looking to add to their merit badges.
Their quota. Trying to fill their quotas.
It's not a quota. It's not a quota. I can tell you right now, it's not referred to as a quota. Not a quota. I had a Orange County Sheriff's deputy tell me it's not a quota. It's not a quota. But you are required to produce an X amount of dollars of revenue for your jurisdiction. So it's not called a quota. Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, I mean, there's good, there's bad, and there's ugly. Papa Cotton, you're right. It depends, you don't want to do something stupid. It all comes down to, still nothing you can do at that time, no matter how messed up it is. Shut up and wait for your lawyer. Yeah, and then there's sometimes it's like that. But again, if you have an actual officer who knows the law,
right,
then I think their approach to people, like I've seen some situations on camera where you have people who have firearms with them and have a license to carry a firearm, and they go into an establishment like a grocery store, and for whatever reason, the cops are called because you're carrying a firearm, whether it's open carry or whatever. But so the police officers will show up, and of course the gun owner, knowing the laws, plays it cool, gives the officers their ID, their license to carry, all that stuff like that.
Right.
And they go do their thing. They call it in to make sure you don't have any warrants or whatever. Make sure your license is valid to carry. They give it back to you, and they either say, have a nice day, or leave the premises. One of the two.
Right.
I know there was a situation a couple of years back with somebody who had, and this is in Texas, which, if I'm not mistaken, is a open carry state.
Mm-hmm.
Had a guy come they were in a Walmart, him and his wife, I think their kid was with them too, a teenage daughter. They were shopping, open carry. They called the cops. So the sheriff's deputies came out and detained the guy in the store while they were they were shopping, and detained him, asked him for his firearm, whatever. So he gave him he handed the firearm over. They ran his stuff, came back. He was okay. Gave him his firearm back, but then the store wanted to trespass him because he was carrying a legal firearm in their store. So what he did was they do a trespass thing and they kick you out. Meaning you got to sign a freaking paper from the store saying you're never going to come back in there again. And if you do, we're going to call the cops on you. Okay, that's what a trespass is for a retailer. Okay. So he was forced to sign that. And he's like, he was, at the time this is going on, he's drinking a soda that he got off the freaking shelf, which is so freaking funny. He says, well, I got to pay for this. Can I not buy any of this stuff? So let me pay for this then. So he had to go pay for that, and the cops had to escort him out of the building because the store, in an open carry state or a legally carried state, he probably had a license to carry anyway, concealed as well.
Right.
So they kicked him out because he wasn't doing anything wrong, but they trespassed him. But that's the bullshit that you're dealing with corporations
Now
that have ideologies.
I got a question on that.
Yeah.
So they trespassed. They wrote up a whole thing of trespassing with him because of the thing.
The store,
So
the store
now,
paperwork goes to corporate.
I got a question. What if a store's unquote or quote policy goes against state law? What
I don't know.
trumps one?
That's a good question. Now, I could tell you right now from personal experience, I have been to Walmart several times. There's several different ones here in my town. People were open carrying all the fucking time, and no one said a fucking thing.
Yeah.
They walk right in front of a door greeter with a 45 on their hip or a Glock or a Smith & Wesson or whatever.
Right.
Right there. Walk right in.
Right.
It's right there. It's visible. You can see it. No one said anything. I don't know. There's no
Probably
signs. At least
that particular store must have disagreed with the gun law or something. Who knows?
now. Here's the thing.
I wonder if it's
Here's
the
the
store or
thing.
the
Here's the
manager.
thing. If the store,
Well-
I know this is as much as I know. If the store has a policy where they don't allow firearms of any kind in, it has to be posted on the entries and exits for everybody to see. Just like when they post, and Abby, you've seen this too, for guide dogs and freaking working dogs and shit like that. They call them service dogs. It says
right, yeah.
service animals are allowed.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
It says no shoes, no shirt, no service. You see those still too.
Right.
And they also say, and they'll say things just like that. And I know in some places in this state, there's still businesses that don't want firearms in, and they'll have a big sign next to all those other signs that you see that says, no firearms allowed.
Right.
Okay.
Well, that's fair enough.
And that's fine. Yeah, fair enough. Either you go someplace that allows it or you don't. Or you put your firearm in the car and come back in.
But
It's up to you.
that's what I'm getting to. But what if the state says you can carry openly in the state of, say, Arizona or Texas and stuff like that, but they're saying we don't allow firearms in our building?
No, I wouldn't do that. Holy hell, no! Then you're really in trouble. But like
Say hello to my
say hello to my
friend.
little
Say
friend.
hello to my little friend.
Hello to my little friend. No shit. No. But I have no qualms with going into an establishment that has people walking around with freaking firearms. That's the way it is. I remember when I was working at my old company. Okay, and this is like about a year or two before we moved to the store. Yeah, we had a cashier. She was been with the company for probably 6-8 months. We had a guy come in one day with a sidearm, visible sidearm, and and at that time, in the state of Arizona, you still had to have a permit to carry concealed. So he had it on his belt, and he had a shirt tucked behind the firearm, so you could visibly see it wasn't concealed.
It wasn't
You
hidden.
could visibly see it. Yeah, you could see it on his hip. And he walked in with it, and I think it was with his wife or somebody. He wasn't alone. And she called the manager on the radios. And I could hear the conversation. And she's like, yeah, so-and-so, this a customer just walked in with a firearm. And he's like, he stops. And he's standing next to me. And he's kind of snickering. And he goes, what are they doing? Oh, he just walked in with, blah, blah, blah. Like, okay, is it out of its holster? Is he waving it around? No. Okay. You do know that this is an open carry state of Arizona, right? State of Arizona is open carry. They're allowed to bring their firearm in with them as long as they're not doing something stupid.
Right.
Oh, okay. It's like that. It's like education too.
It's like I remember when I was a kid, we were coming back from vacation, and we were in I want to say Winslow, Arizona. We were having breakfast. Me and my
That's
parents.
a true enough statement right there, Papa Cotton. You're exactly right.
Yes.
They are definitely target-rich environments. No questions about that at all. I feel safer going into a freaking Rite Aid here than I do in the state of California.
Gun-free zone sign is this advertising for the bad guys to come in and say, "Hey, you can shoot this place up."
Exactly. Yeah, it's crazy. So go ahead, Abby. I'm sorry.
But we were driving back, and we were at a restaurant having breakfast, and my brother was young. He was, I want to say, like maybe early grade school, kindergarten, first grade, or something like that. And he looked over at this person, this gentleman, and kind of looked like Billy Jack, Uncle Steve. And,
yeah.
And he had a big, huge Colt Python 45, on his hip.
Python.
And of course, my brother, he's carrying a gun in the open. And I smiled. My mom kind of freaked, and then my dad kind of like goes, "Oh, they can do that here."
Yeah. It's open carry state. It's been that way for a while, but just recently now it's permitless. You don't need a permit. That passed legislation a couple of years ago where it doesn't matter now. You can keep it in your pocket, or whatever.
Yeah.
You don't have to have a permit to carry a concealed weapon. Now, Papa Cotton just hit on something very relevant. He says gun-free zones are target-rich environments. Yes, they are.
Yes, they are.
But a gun-free zone, such as a school, you can't have a firearm within 1,000 feet of a school. Now, in this town, there's a lot of establishments, regular businesses that are near a school.
Yes.
Of some kind, grade school, high school, elementary school. But if you have a concealed carry permit issued by a state that says you've been trained XYZ, and a cop pulls you over in front of a freaking, like they pull you over for a traffic violation, but you're right in front of the freaking school or across the street from the school, it's still inside 1,000 feet.
Right.
If they ask you if you have a firearm, or like this is my father-in-law, because he's got a concealed carry permit here, and you can hand the cop, as long as you have that ID card that says you're permitted to carry concealed, you're not in violation of the 1,000-foot federal bullshit.
Right.
Now they teach you that in classes. I definitely want people to, if you're going to get a gun, you want to get a good education, go get your concealed permit first. You'll get a massive education. There's a lot of good places to get. They do it all the time here. It's like freaking left and right. You'll see classes advertised for concealed carry, get your permit, because this state might be a permitless carry. It's kind of what they call constitutional carry now. But if you get pulled over for a traffic violation and they ask you if you have weapons and you don't have a permit for concealed carry, you're probably going to get busted for that charge.
And it's funny
just like what they did to that dude back east where he was protecting his mom and their place was just across the street from a frickin' school. And someone got pissed off because the local cops wouldn't do anything because he's on his own property. And they called the ATF, and the ATF came over and arrested the guy for violating that federal law. Now, and that case is ongoing right now. So, but there's things like that,
Back to your permit thing too. The other thing about getting a permit, say in Arizona, permit has reciprocity in like 8 or 10 different states. So
I want to say it's about 27 frickin' states they have reciprocity with.
Yeah. Now there's states like California that they don't have reciprocity for anybody.
No, they don't.
You got to have your separate concealed carry permit for California.
Exactly. That's
California's permit doesn't have reciprocity with any other state.
Yeah, exactly. That's why File couldn't go into California carrying a sidearm, even though he's a former Fed. Right. Even though he worked for the federal government in law enforcement, even though he probably has a concealed permit and all kinds of other permits, I'm sure, still, they would give him like a hard time and all this other shit, acting like he's America's most wanted or some shit.
Well, he does look at an Arab.
Well, hey, don't hold that against him. You know,
I'm not.
he's what he calls himself a white Puerto Rican. I don't know what the hell that is.
The only thing I'm going to hold against him is his lime green car.
It's not his.
I'm like,
that's a badass rig.
It's a badass rig, but the color's like, oi.
Dude, there's somebody here in town that has the same car in orange. The bright, screaming, freaking orange, and it's awesome.
I mean, burnt orange, okay.
Yeah.
Bright.
Time Prophet in the chat is bowing out, sir. Yeah, we've been on for almost over 2.5 hours. Thank you for coming, man. Yeah, I kind of figured you'd be taking off for dinner and stuff and doing stuff with your wife. Thank you so much for being here, Time Prophet. Appreciate it, as always.
Papa Cotton's
Have
right.
a good
All
one.
gun laws are unconstitutional.
Well, I suppose so, right? Yeah.
Well, yeah, exactly. And I think you're looking at that wind is starting to shift with the passage of the Bruin case in the Supreme Court. Because of Bruin, it's cascaded down to a lot of different things that have been adjudicated to be constitutional now, and or these laws being violations of the Constitution. So it's yeah.
They just had another one come up about a couple weeks ago, where they were. New York says, okay, you can have a gun, but you can't take it out of your home. Well, that goes against the right to bear arms. And the Supreme Court ruled that you have a right to bear arm in the home and outside of the home. So that throws out, the whole you got to have a permit to carry thing.
Right.
Yeah.
You're having a situation and exactly what File said holds so true, that if the populace has access to arms, ammunition, and the ability to train with those arms and become proficient, I added that part. And I mentioned train and be proficient because that's part of the well-regulated. Well-regulated does not mean regulations in our modern sense. Regulated means just what I said. Trained with that firearm on how to use it. Knowledge. So it's training with that firearm.
Yeah.
That's what well-regulated means.
Well, I remember
a militia. Here's the thing. A militia. Because I remember these people were pushing this bullshit, all these leftist bastards. Well, it doesn't say individual, it says militia. Militia. Guess what? A militia is a collection of fucking civilians.
The right of the people.
And they use their own firearms. Anyway, there's powers that want us to be completely unable to protect ourselves in a time of tyrannical upheaval. You look at what's going on in fucking Europe. Look at all that shit that's going on over there in England, in Australia, all these Western nations, in Canada. Holy shit. Where they're forcing people they're guilting people into get rid of their firearms because of safety. Oh, we had one phony mass shooting in New Zealand, and they fucking tried to confiscate everybody's freaking.
Let's get back to the Canadian thing, though, too. It's okay. They want to get rid of all the, and it's not just, okay, we're going to get rid of the assault weapon, whatever the hell that is. We're getting rid of in common use firearms, hunting rifles in Canada,
Yes.
Which is like, wait a minute. That doesn't make any sense. Some of these people need to use these things to survive because they live out in the Yukon and they live in the, in the forest and stuff like that. They use that to survive. They need those firearms.
Oh, yeah, in the backcountry. I mean, dude, Canada has got a bazillion freaking acres of forest. And the farther north you go, the sparser it gets for human activity. And I'll tell you what, there's some mean-ass bears, mountain lions, and other fucking critters over there you don't want to tangle with without having some boomstick.
Right.
And they want you to, same way with Australia.
Yeah.
There's parts of Australia you need a freaking firearm. Otherwise, I mean, holy shit. And there's parts of Alaska that they won't let you go into unless you've got a firearm.
Yeah.
a freaking rifle, because of the same thing. Bears, lions, moose. Oh, fuck it, mooses and they're running season. Holy shit! You better fucking You better make like a cheetah and get the hell out of there.
The problem with the moose, they're a very large animal and they're skittish as hell.
Yes, they are.
All right.
They don't fuck with a moose. Yeah, Papa Cotton. He's it's getting slow on my end, but this putting stuff up. It says once they get your gun, they're going to kill it. Yeah. If you think anything else is going to happen, you'd be wrong. Yeah, you're absolutely right, because history has shown us, history has told us that after the government just has confiscated firearms from the citizenry, they fucking totally, holy shit. Look at fucking Southeast Asia. What the fuck these guys did over there with the freaking Khmer Rouge? Holy shit.
Well, okay, we have in history, we have proving him right. What did Germany do before World War II?
Yeah.
They
took everybody's guns.
Took everybody's guns.
Yep. What'd the fucking American government do to the tribes of Indians? When they subdued them on reservations, they took their freaking firearms away.
Got them all hopped up on firewater and took away their fucking firearms.
Took away their shit. Holy shit. The U.S. government massacred over almost 280 something indigenous people, men, women, and children, okay, in the late 1800s. This was well after fucking shit, just before the turn of the century. Massacred them.
Yeah.
Nobody had a fucking firearm, and they shot them all. Killed them the fuck all.
Yeah.
But it's okay
racist
when they do it.
Bastards.
Yeah, it's okay when they do it.
Yeah, it's okay when they do it. The racist pigs.
It's all justified then.
Right. And
Bullshit.
you think that shit won't happen here? Fuck that. It's going to happen. That's why they're pushing so hard. Politicians are trying to get this, because they're all fucking bought off.
These goddamn red flag laws, too.
Oh, the fucking red flag laws. And I know some of them have been deposed and defeated. That's for sure. But they're trying this shit. And like anybody that proclaims that they're a quote unquote Republican or quote unquote conservative and supports a federal red flag law,
right,
is just what I said before. Most Republicans are Democrats.
Yes.
And any person with an R next to their name that says we should have red flag laws are no one you want to have in charge of your shit, because they're the sellouts. They're the sleeping freaking sleeper cells that are in your midst that has polluted our form of government. The big plan is that the United States is the last bastion of freedom in this fucking country. And the only reason why we are the last ones is because we still have our guns. And they're fighting like hell to get rid of them.
Oh, yeah.
They are. I don't give a shit. And the funny thing is, it's not the liberals or conservatives. It's the leftists. Leftists are the enemy. Yes. And there's leftists on both sides because they never were on the right.
No.
They're leftists incognito.
Well, rhino. The term rhino.
Yeah. And they take our guns away. We're done. Yeah. We're done. You have no regress. You have no regress to government. You have no fucking way of defending yourself because of criminals. I mean, you become. The other ones are going to have firearms. Are going to be law enforcement and the military.
What's going to happen is they're going to come to try to take the guns of the wrong person, and there's going to be. They've
already done that with these red flag laws.
Well,
and people have died because of that shit.
We're talking like these survivalist types that have booby traps and shit everywhere.
That's I don't know. Those are all what ifs and who knows. I don't. But yeah, there's people that want to be left alone.
We have a case in point. Several years ago, Wookie knows this. This whole thing with the area in Ruby Ridge in Idaho. What happened there? The guy was entrapped. He sawed off. He was asked to saw off some shotguns, and turns out the guy was an ATF agent. So they entrapped him to do this. They wanted him to go to court. He didn't want to go to court because he's one of these separatist people. He wouldn't be left alone. Him and his family. They lived in some kind of shack and cabin up on the hill in Idaho, northern Idaho.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And they came up there with a tac squad and shot his son and his best friend and his wife.
Right. Yeah. Killed them.
Killed them all.
14-year-old kid shot a 14-year-old kid. Yeah, the guy had a firearm, but he never knew what hit him.
Yeah.
14-year-old kid shot his wife while she was holding their baby.
Yeah.
In the window.
Missed the baby by inches.
Yeah. Shot her, killed her dead. Because he was entrapped to saw off a shotgun. And then it became a short barrel rifle, which is quote unquote illegal.
Yeah.
And this was in the early 90s. This was prior to the whole Waco incident with the Davidian and Koresh and all that, and prior to the Oklahoma City bombing. Matter of fact, that incident triggered Timothy McVeigh to do the Oklahoma City bombing.
Yeah, but I don't think Timothy McVeigh. I think he was the scapegoat. I think he was the Lee Harvey Oswald. I think he was the Lee Harvey Oswald.
Do you think he was involved to some degree?
Yeah, I think he was involved to a degree.
I think there was another
but
person
there was
at the
something
bombing
else.
That did it.
There was something else going on in that freaking building. That they wanted destroyed. There was something. Somebody else wanted something destroyed that was in that building.
Yeah.
Timothy McVeigh is that the guy that was former military, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Former military. Got a Ryder truck with diesel fuel and frickin' fertilizer.
Yeah.
Apparently, that's what was used to knock a building half down. Don't know. But there was something else. People, him and another guy.
Yeah, they got caught driving a car somewhere. Yeah,
they dropped off the truck.
Yeah.
He didn't have a license plate on the back of the car.
I watched the video on that not long ago, actually, because it was he not inspired by Waco or something?
He was.
Thing, wasn't it?
Was Ruby Ridge, I think, wasn't it?
Ruby Ridge kind of opened him up, and then he went to Waco and he saw Waco firsthand because he was there.
Yeah.
And
that was it.
Set him
that
off.
was weird because what the fuck did they do to get the FBI on their ass? They were just a big religious group, and that was it.
They had bought a bunch of firearms and explosives.
Well, okay, firearms, okay. I don't see the reason for that, but they bought a bunch of explosives. But I do know this: you can buy explosives if you have the right license.
Mm-hmm.
You can buy a freaking full auto machine gun.
Machine guns, yes.
Yes.
If you have a proper licensing, you can buy one.
Yep.
It'll take you forever and a lot of money.
Yep. Yeah,
but you can.
Was it not like a whole bunch of grenades the guy dropped off or something?
A whole bunch of grenades. They said that they were holding people against their will.
They claimed that
But these people were kind of true believers, and they stayed with this guy because he thought he was the second coming of Christ
separatists,
or like
and they were separatists too. They didn't want to have anything to do with anybody. They claimed all kinds of crap that this guy Koresh was doing. But anyway,
but he was. Don't get me wrong. He was a nut bar beyond belief.
There's no question. Yeah, they were all nut bars. No question.
Nichols, yes.
Yeah, Terry Nichols. That's who the guy was. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, he was a nut bar. But the thing was that a situation kind of like with Ruby Ridge, where it was kind of one of those things where he approached, or he was approached by the wrong people to get these grenades or whatever these explosives were.
I don't know what actually triggered the federal
government. The government actually burnt all those people to fucking death in there. They did that. They did that on purpose. Yeah, they did that on purpose. Yes. They fucking did. They killed them all.
And they could have done that so much more differently than they did. They wanted to have a show of force and stuff like that. And sometimes that's not the best way to go.
And you know who was involved with all of that shit? With fucking Ruby Ridge and Waco? Bill Barr. Because Bill Barr Bill Barr got the snipers off who took out the guy at Ruby Ridge's wife and the
Ron
kid
Hariuchi.
and the other guy. Yeah,
But the thing is with
because they murdered him in cold blood.
Ruby Ridge happened during the Bush 1 administration.
Right.
Waco,
and Bill
Waco,
Barr was
Wa-
still part of the administration at that time.
Waco and Oklahoma was Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, Barr was still involved with the government through both those administrations.
But Janet Reno was Attorney General.
Right. She was, but he was at a lesser position. He was an attorney. He was like a DA somewhere. Or, he worked for the government.
A federal attorney or something like that.
Yeah, federal prosecutor or something like that. But he got the guys off.
Yeah.
But whatever. Yeah, Janet Reno was a freaking, and the whole thing with that freaking Elian Martinez or whatever the hell his name was.
Oh,
that whole fucking bullshit.
That was staged, I think. To me, that feels like it was staged.
Yeah, I think about
to some degree.
Yeah, I think about 75% of that's theater. That's just my opinion. I don't know. Anyway, government sucks. They don't like you. They want to fuck you at every stage of the way. They want to take away your ability to be independent, meaning they don't want you to have a freaking gas stove because they can't shut the gas off. They can't shut the propane off. They can shut the electricity off, but they can't shut the propane off.
Yeah.
I did that shit 40 years ago with the fucking toilets in the U.S., where it used to have 5-gallon tanks and now they're 3 or 2.5 or some bullshit.
Gone down.
Yeah. And they still have them in Canada, though. They still have 5-gallon tanks in Canada. You can't. That's fucking contraband. You can't buy a toilet and drag it across the border from Canada. It's contraband. It's illegal in the United States. A 5-gallon freaking toilet.
Yeah.
But that's government.
Just like in some areas of the country, you can't drill a well on your own property anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
All right, Cam. Thanks, man, for
Cam.
dropping in. We really appreciate seeing you in the chats, man. Have a good one. A good weekend, and everybody have a good Labor Day. Because we get the extra day off.
We get that one day off a year.
Cops will be out in force, probably making overtime to bust you for drinking and driving. So don't do that.
Well, that's good.
Don't drink and drive.
The cops will be out in force, and I'll be drinking in force. Okay, so
yes, at home. I'm too cheap to go to a bar.
Right. I got plenty of booze here. I can drink all I want. And my tobacco's here too, so I'll do that.
My wife picked up something I've never seen before. There's a
actual beer.
Listen. There's a beer company called Jalisco Estrella.
Yeah,
or Estrella Jalisco, something like that. Right, it's next to me, right? She found my flavor at the store down the block. The big tall boy. No. My other favorite flavor.
Bud Light flavor?
Bud Light flavor?
Yeah. No. Damn you. It's tamarindo.
Oh, good Lord.
Tamarindo flavored beer. Yeehaw! I want to crack
I
that.
don't even know what the hell that is.
That's an unholy concoction.
It's a Mexican fruit. It's freaking awesome, dude. Actually, it's Asian. It was brought over to Mexico.
Okay.
But it's called tamarindo. Oh yeah, No. You can get it straight. You can actually get the tamarindo fruit. They're dried. You can make your own juice. You can make your own drink. They also bottle it and carbonate it. That's like a soda. Or you can buy the powder and just make it like a Kool-Aid type drink with it. Yeah, it's awesome. No, it's freaking cool. If you ever come to the United States, you're gonna have a drink of tamarindo, baby, with some tequila in it.
Yes. We'll introduce him to Mexican beers, and then we'll go shooting.
There you go.
I can't see straight.
Maybe we should do the shooting prior to the beer.
Yes, the shooting. Good. Take your range time first, and then partake in the beverages. Yeah, tamarindo flavored beer. Yeah. So, wife's gonna pick me up some more this weekend, I think. She picked me up one, and there's a ton of them, like a whole pallet of them. But they're sold individually, not in a pack. But they're tall boys, so she might go pick up a few more. Yeah,
nice
tamarindo beer. I've seen the tamarindo vodka. The Smirnoff makes Tamarindo vodka. Oh yeah, that's good stuff. Oh yeah, good stuff.
I'm going to stick with
Good
my
stuff.
Stone Cold Steve Austin Skull Crusher American
Oh
Lager.
hell yeah! Oh hell yeah!
What?
Exactly,
What?
guys. I think
What?
I'm gonna cut. I think I'm gonna cut it loose. We're almost 3 hours on this thing.
All right.
We've had some good interactions here with folks, and I think most everybody's getting bored as shit because it's 3 hours.
We haven't heard from Time Prophet in a while.
Yeah, well, he took off. He had to leave.
He took off. Okay.
Yeah, he took off about 20, 30 minutes ago. He had to take off, and then Cam's taken off.
Papa
so
Cotton's still on.
Papa Cotton's probably still in the chat.
In the chat.
But I show 4 people watching, but they're probably bored off their ass right now because it's the weekend. It's Saturday, and over here it's freaking noontime because I'm hungry.
Yeah, I know.
I'm hungry.
Which is code for beer. Anyway.
Yes. Crack that Tamarindo beer open. Anyway, thank you everybody for being in the chat. Papa Cotton, Cam, Time Prophet. It was a stink something or other.
Yeah.
New person was in the chat. Let's scroll back up here. I can find him. Stink something or other. There's Timothy. Yeah, Timothy. I forget the last name. Timothy Olsen. Yeah. Yeah, Timothy Olsen. He's the artist guy I had on. Yeah. He's got some good stuff going on there with his book that's coming out. Check out my video on that, everybody.
Stink Whistle was the new person.
Stink Whistle. That's what it was. Stink Whistle. Stink Whistle. Tim. Files in the chat for a little bit. So, yeah. If I missed somebody in the chat, I apologize. But I want to say thank you for being in the chat and participating and stuff like that, and everything. I also want to thank File 13 for being on the show for a little while. I know he's busy because he's got 2 little ones. He's got to play goalie for because his wife works. So yeah, he's doing a lot of stuff over there on his with his graphics. So check him out, File 13 Graphics on YouTube. And so you can find his videos. I think I don't have anything linked to this one, but just check him out. File 13 Graphics on YouTube. Great stuff there. He posted some stuff on, I think he posted it on Facebook or Twitter. Some of the stuff he's done a couple of times this week. So anyway.
I'll start with something right now.
Uh-oh. What?
A tribute to Jimmy Buffett. Oh, yeah, he passed away this morning.
Yeah, that's a shame. Jimmy Buffett passed away. I'll tell you what, and I think Abby, you can attest to this. Back when my first wife took off, I bought a lot of Jimmy Buffett stuff. Jimmy Buffett and Cheech and Chong were my best friends.
Yes.
Yes. So, Cheech and Chong movies and listening to Jimmy
Trying to
Buffett
get
songs.
to Margaritaville.
We got that shit right, brother. Oh, yes, we were. Oh, we had some stories. Drunk roommates and everything. Holy hell.
Yeah, that was, oh boy.
Interesting times. Anyway, great. So everybody, thanks for being on and watching and being in the chat. If you'd be so kind as to like this stream. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. Much appreciate it. Please check out Timothy Olsen's stuff on Twitter. Great artist there. He's got some comic books you'll be interested in. And check him out. He's got a comic series called Melvin. He's funding Melvin. I interviewed him. He's a great guy. So check out that video. On that video, I have his links to all his socials on the description of that video. So I think it was about a month ago or so. Great guy. Check him out. Check File 13 Graphics out. Check out Kroll Beerab on Twitter. He's always got some good stuff he's posting.
Sometimes I do that, yeah.
He's got that serious frowny face. Sometimes he throws in a couple minute video or a rant of something. So I miss those.
You know what? I haven't done any of those because for some reason now it just takes ages to upload anything. So that's
I know
the
what
reason,
you mean.
You know,
I know what you mean.
Feels like I'm going to break the internet trying to upload something. So
I know, right?
I just don't do that so much now.
Yeah. Well, hopefully you can start posting again. But I know the struggles of getting stuff to load. So
Yeah.
and Abby, thank you for being here so much. And
Yep.
you know, we'll see you on the next one. And you're on the socials, bebopping around, right? So on
Every once in a while.
Twitter,
I'm not on Facebook all that much.
yeah,
I'm more on the
Twitter,
Instagram
you're
a
on.
lot.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. I'm not on.
So yeah,
Because
but you'll be here. You'll
basic
be here next
pictures.
week. So, yeah, right. Yes, spreading the love on Instagram. All right.
Yeah,
Well,
I
again,
get on Facebook, I get in trouble.
yeah, I know what you mean. All right, everybody. Thanks again for coming in. It's 3 hours. We're gone. See you guys on the next one. Again, please don't forget, like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you next